Futures a little changed here this morning, trying to get back into positive territory, coming off a winning session back on Friday. It's 3 weeks in a row for stocks, positive for stocks. As of the weekend, we're monitoring continued action in bond markets that could be a little bit concerning going forward. We're going to have Frank Caberna come through from the small exchange once again, get his take on what further inversion means for the bond markets. Overall, though, Wall Street coming off pretty impressive performance on Friday. If you remember, the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ all posting gains following the March non-farm payrolls that did miss estimates ever so slightly. Individually this morning, Twitter shares making big moves on this Elon Musk headline, 9.2% stake for Elon in Twitter. We'll talk about that, of course. Also, Tesla deliveries for March coming over the weekend and for Q1. Pretty impressive number there. Chinese ADR is back on the move as well. Continued signs that China is going to be willing to work with the SEC to avoid any delistings. It's Monday, April 4th, 2022. TraderTv.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at pretty quiet board overall. We are positive for the Dow and the S&P. The NASDAQ trying here to get back on the right side of zero. TSX futures here in Toronto ever so slightly to the upside. You can see crude oil moving around here as well. It's actually, that number is incorrect. I'm seeing a nice gain actually for crude so far. So we'll double check that. Bitcoin and Ethereum back in positive territory as well. Welcome to a brand new week, guys. Interesting start to the week overall. Lots of individual headlines to run through coming off that performance we saw on Friday on the non-farm payrolls number. Good morning, guys. We'll get Fed meeting minutes Wednesday this week. So that's kind of the next benchmark that we'll talk about for the overall market. Until then, oh, Elon.
What did he do? No, yeah, good morning, everybody. Yeah, obviously we're going to talk about some Twitter today, but just taking a 9% stake, there's still a lot that would have to happen for anything really actionable. Like, is he going to be activist? Is he going to be pushing an agenda? Either way, the stock is moving and booming, somehow managing to eclipse Tesla delivery numbers. The other side of that equation, we'll watch shares of DWAC as well as they're getting shellacked, which you might imagine, like down 11%, Twitter up that 20%. Yeah, not going to be a good look for them. The launch hasn't gone as well as they would have expected, and suddenly with some more eyeballs on Twitter, I suppose that doesn't bode well for DWAC. But there's going to be a lot to watch. You talked about the Fed minutes there. We still have oil pretty volatile, and we're watching nat gas plays like TEL, which I promised I would look at this morning, and is on watch once again. So not too much different from last week. Stick to what is moving, because that's what it's all about here. The market relatively flat, although slightly up, but there's no shortage of action this morning.
No, what's up, everybody? Yeah, it's Monday, and start of another week. It's going to be another good week, of course. Here trading, we start with the big news. I'm already into two positions, short Starbucks here, long Polestar. Hertz is in the business now, making deals with Polestar, GGPI, so if you see that come through on the bottom there, two positions already, and then Starbucks, man, never a good idea when you start canceling buybacks. So we already have a pretty decent sized position here, taking out that 88.50. I like it. We'll see what happens here, but 88.50, we're already short Starbucks. It's all on the sticky note, and yeah, we're super excited. It looks like there's going to be lots to trade here once again every day. It seems like there's something going on, and that's why I love this market. That's why I love this business. You can never sleep on anything here, but we're going to look to get out of some Twitter here if it takes out 88, Starbucks if it takes out 88. Twitter might be on the way to 88 at some point. I have a feeling
88.
Like Elon's not done yet. No, I just said that because I screwed up Starbucks, but I really feel like that's a good move here. As a shareholder of Twitter, I think you probably want to get something out here around $50. But like I was saying before, or like I said on the sticky note, we were just at $44. So here's Twitter right here. We were just at, now it's 47, but we were just at 44 earlier on. Now hopefully this loads up back in January. There it is. So this is not unfamiliar territory for Twitter. I mean, we were all the way up to $70 in November. So I feel like now that we're just into here, it's kind of like what I've been saying. You're just kind of clearing out some of this garbage. And it doesn't happen on earnings. It doesn't happen on anything like that. It happens on Elon Musk taking in 9.2% stake. So again, it's going to be a passive stake. So like Neil said, we don't know exactly where he's going with all this. But last week, if you remember, Brendan, there was stories. He was not trash talking Twitter. Well, I guess maybe
he was.
Maybe, yeah, just saying that they can do better and there's more. There should be more here and things like that. So maybe he is going to take, I don't know, more of a stake in this. And I don't think he needs to buy anything. But always very an interesting name and interesting thing to watch when Sir Elon takes flight here. 13 million shares. We'll watch it. Starbucks already working, man. Already downside here. We're bidding 20s.
Not a good look for Starbucks stock that's been having a tough year, to say the least. If you remember last week, we were talking about on the Twitter front as well. Somebody was asking him on Twitter, of course, whether he would maybe create his own social media platform, to which he responded, quote unquote, am seriously considering this. So here we go. Before we go any further, let's bring in Miss V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Welcome to the new trading week. I wish you a wonderful, profitable day. Please like this video and let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, let's get it started. Lots to discuss here, guys. Wedbush agreeing with you, Sean. Here's a note from Wedbush saying, this is just the start for, according to Wedbush, for Musk and picking up Twitter shares. So there you go, echoing that sentiment. Here's a note on DWAC as well. A couple of executives parting ways with DWAC and Truth. So yeah, Neil was mentioning 11.6% already. I mean, obviously this Twitter news is not going to help, but apparently there's an exodus underway as well.
Yeah, look, on the DWAC front, like remember all the hype and then the launch. Yeah, they haven't been having the growth, I guess, that they wanted, but obviously, you have the other aspect here of attention elsewhere. There's only so many platforms that are going to be able to get people's attention. So you have the failed launch. Well, I shouldn't say the failed launch. You have a disappointing launch, and then now you have Twitter possibly getting some energy here. It's hard to imagine DWAC being strong today. And the bigger picture is, look, anytime we talk about these shelves that get broken down, I know we're like $3 away from this 59 that got taken out here. This is what it looks like on the daily chart, though. Like you had a double bottom, and then that break got you to 100. Twice it tried to test up there. Actually, 3 times it tried to test that 100, and then reversed off of it. You're now breaking that floor. DWAC's just going to be, as long as it's below this 59.60, it's going to be, I think, a short all week off of this level. Just piling on top of what was already, sort of a pretty weak pullback. It might get to 50 and find some support. It's done that in the past, but it's going to be hard to be on another side of the trade. Clearly not going to do, it's not going to do as much volume as Twitter today. That's just not going to happen, but it's still going to be tradable for me, and I'm shorting it to 59.
Yeah, I don't actually, but despite the news obviously coming through there about what you're saying, some of the executives and things like that, I don't think Elon Musk doing anything with Twitter has really anything to do with DWAC. But again, you know what? I almost think it could be a positive, like bringing light to some of the social media angle. But at the same time, like Neil was mentioning there, DWAC's had a failed start. And, politics aside, you don't want to be investing in a business that promises to come out maybe in late March or whatever it was. And then now, as we're sitting here early April, still doesn't really have a viable platform or a sign-up procedure or anything like that from as far as I know. We don't have it here in Canada, so I shouldn't talk too much about the procedure. But anyways, yeah, not a name that I'm going to be looking at. I've already said that I like Rumble CFVI a little bit better because it's just closer to that SPAC price. And then I don't think like 11, 12% move down in DWAC, even if you get that in CFVI, then you just go back to $10, which you're already guaranteed. So I kind of like CFVI a little bit better for that reason. We are already out. Here we go. We're on the bid of Starbucks right now. So we're already there. Ring it! Right now, $1 in the money right now with Starbucks, as that's going to continue to go to the downside. So we just tweeted that out. We're already in this trade, short 88.50. It just printed 87. I got to get it some more here. 87.70. Okay, we'll take that. Let's see how far Starbucks goes down here.
Just seeing Wendy's, guys. WEN out with looks like a forecast change. So watch out for WEN. Here's the note on Polestar. Sean mentioned 65,000. That's a decent number. EVs from Hertz. So we talked about Tesla and Hertz going back to last year a little bit. So now Hertz doubling down on getting some Polestars. And this is going to happen pretty soon, guys, like in Europe in spring. So like right away, essentially, for European markets, North America and Australia to come later this year. But 65,000, decent number.
Yeah, they just had a deal. I thought they had a deal with
Who?
Enterprise or something. I think Polestar as well. So that's and again, GGPI. Like this is we talk about competition all the time. And realistically, like you want to see both deliveries, but you want to see commitments as well, because everybody says the demand isn't going to be an issue. That's great, but you actually need to start to see these revenues come in and be committed. What I looked at for what I looked at a Polestar was just this clean double top here at 1250. I kind of like it above this price, and it's sort of obvious to see. If it gets back down to like these 12s, I think it can be a bit of a long. I'm a little bit shocked that the spread's what it is. It's on 1.6 million shares, which is pretty solid. But like I said, I'd like to see it go back to the 1 minute above that 1250, which you can see it broke down at about 745 and has been barcoding sort of in this range, 1225 to that same 1250. Ignore these dark pool wicks up here. It hasn't been above 1250 since about 745. And on the daily, that was that resistance anyways. There's not much on the size level too, so I think you can be patient getting into it. I know you're sitting in the long shot. I think it's probably good to that previous high in the daily, 1180 to 12 even. I do like. On our watch list, SPI's on there, SPI Energy. It was a low float runner before. I'm just going to quickly go over it because I just got into this while it was consolidating. Up on actual earnings and revenue beat, but it did break again a level on the daily. This is your 367, 368 area. It does have like a couple of lower highs in that range. It tried to take it out this morning. You see it get above twice and has come right back below. So I'm just shorting it to the high. It's now failed this level twice on the daily chart, so I'm going to get in front of it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just long Polestar here. I mean, good news as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what to do with the EV space. I don't own any Polestar shares, but again, making a deal, I think it makes good sense here. The more deals these companies can come out with, the better it is. Hertz taking 65,000 cars, obviously a good idea there. And yeah, I'm just trading it just purely off that. We do have some bases here. I mean, if you want to trade an EV name that basically has no movement, Polestar is going to be the one for you. It's down right now. Down goes Starbucks more. But you're going to watch this 1140, 1150 area. So, I mean, that's an area for concern. But we're just here. I'm like Neil. I have a bigger bid here down in the teens, 12 teens, 12, 15, whatever, something like that. If it comes back in, then we'll be buying some more Polestar here. And again, it's just the EV space has been pretty positive talk lately for some of these companies. Fisker, Lucid, Rivian's even. I mean, Rivian's gotten hit the last couple of days, but they started to go back up to the upside. You get better. I mean, whether or not it's better delivery numbers for Tesla or not, there's some under it, some over it, but they're saying roughly around consensus there. And then there's Polestar. This is the look that I had right here on the daily, just breaking above this 12. You need to get above, obviously, 1250 for it to really make some noise. But we're pretty happy with the way this stock is looking right now. So we'll take it above this 12, see if it can hold. You know, we won't dance with this one too much. If it does come back into 1150, something like that, then it's probably worth it. But you're already done 1.6 million shares. So for me, that's definitely a actionable level. So we'll trade it right now as if it was open, and we'll just start taking some of these trades through the high side. If we ever get a bump, I mean, just to say, like, where is our outs going to be? Obviously, those 1380s didn't exist, so we're not taking that as the day high. But if you look here at the 1 minute chart, we did get into this 1280 area a little bit. And if I could take 50 cents on 12, I think we should probably do that for a little bit. So we're going to do that if it gets up here. So first offer around this 1280 spot right here, and then we'll see if we can fly a little bit more. But Starbucks right there just had an 88.80 on the offer. So let's see if this now it's 88 on the offer. So we're now 30 cents in the money. I'm still bidding lower. We did take a bid out there. You saw me do it right in front of you guys. 78s or 79s. What did we get? We got 78s there. So down in 88.20 first bid, 88 flat, then 87.80 we got, and then now we'll see about a lower print here coming for Starbucks. But GGPI and Starbucks too that I'm in already.
All right, let's talk futures. Let's talk some interest rates as well. More moves coming for bond markets. Crazy action continuing on bond markets. Frank Caberna is Director of Product Content and Creative at the small exchange in Chicago. joining us for a Monday look here. Frank, good morning. At what to expect coming up this week, as we said, Fed meeting minutes to come on Wednesday. The inversion steepens, I guess, is the best way to lead into this.
Yeah, absolutely, Brennan. And it was even worse, actually, last night as I was emailing back and forth with you. It looked like 2-year notes were going to open lower last night, which would cause yields to pop higher again today. Thankfully, taking a breather here in the short end of the yield curve. And I feel like a broken record, Brennan. A lot of your audience probably sick of me talking rates, but man, that's where the volatility is, and that's where the opportunity is for us as traders. As you alluded to, we've got an FOMC minutes this week, not the highest priority event, but given how many eyes are on FOMC, definitely going to see some volatility. And I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention here. Interesting note that we've noticed in the last month of action throughout March, we saw this short-term interest rate market, looking at the small 2-year yield, close above volatility projected highs 4 weeks in a row. So what does that mean? Well, volatility is a gauge of historical movement, and we can use that measure of, okay, how much has this thing been moving recently to project the range moving forward? And we project that here at the small exchange for this product and all of our products. And this market here in S2I closed above those projections. Like I say, 4 weeks in a row. There's only a 16% chance that you close above those highs in any given week, Brendan. Doing that 4 times in a row, less than a 1% chance of that occurring. Now, the market is memoryless, Brendan, which means that it doesn't necessarily know, hey, I just committed this huge outlier move in the last couple of weeks, and so now I'm going to, come off huge, or I'm going to expand on that outlier. Anything can happen any given week, but when I see something like this, Brendan, I don't think it's sustainable for a market to continue with that velocity. I'm on the short side of these short-term rates. Thankfully, like I said, 5 basis points lower today, this morning to kick off the week. But I like the shorts in here. I think that we could see a good amount of retracement. We saw this type of move actually to start 2022, and then we saw rates come back a little bit after a rally of this magnitude. And moving forward, you can see the range for this week. If you don't like the shorts in here, I do like as a potential day trade or a scalp, the projections for this week, about 26.25 to the upside, 22.25 to the downside. And that 26 number is really interesting to me, because if this 2-year market, Brendan, can get above $25, which is 2.5%, then and stay above that for this week and the weeks to come, then we might be in that new territory of, can they get to 3%? But I think there's going to be a lot of resistance in trying to close above that 25 number. I mean, you saw it actually this morning. They would have been getting above 25 as we speak if we didn't see notes bounce back a little bit during Europe and rates move a little bit lower going into this morning here. If you're looking, though, for a bigger extreme, because here's the deal, 2-year rates have been rallying like crazy. And like I say, I like getting on the other side of, 4 weeks in a row, moving above those projected highs. If you're not sold on short rates, though, I think that there's a lot to be said for this inversion that we're seeing, and that not being especially sustainable as well. Because while short-term rates have been on a hell of a ride, Brendan, of course they can get up to 3%. I mean, you've been trading in the past when they were at 3% or even 4 or 5% more than 5 to 10 years ago. But what can't stick around for a while is this inversion in the yield curve. And that's going to be a really interesting one as the FOMC minutes come out this week. Do we bounce right back into a normalized curve of non-inversion, still trading with inversion right now with 2-year yields over 10s? That's going to be a really interesting one, because I don't think that can hold for as long as 2-year rates can be higher. That inversion just doesn't tend to hold, man.
I want to get your take on, I mean, it's great info, obviously. I want to get your take on what to expect going into that, because it's been a long time since we've been in an environment where, something like the Fed meeting minutes, as simple as the Fed meeting minutes, can be market moving and a market moving event. So Typically, historically, what have you seen leading into that coming off of an interest rate decision from the Fed?
Well, so you'd expect it to be quiet, right? But that's what we expected actually going into this last FOMC, whose minutes we're getting this week. And that being said, it hasn't been quiet already to start the week. So while I would expect interest rate markets to be quiet, if you pull up the platform here, you can see that 2-year rates already off 50 cents this morning. They closed on their highs last week at above 24 and a half, already down below 24 and a quarter here this morning. So while I'd expect it to be quiet, Brendan, we're not getting that quiet action. And I don't think we're going to get it, given that before the FOMC minutes, I believe it is tomorrow, we have 2 Fed chair people talking. Right after the FOMC minutes, we have a handful of more talk out of the Fed chair people. And another thing to expect from something like the minutes. Now, we had what everybody interpreted as a very hawkish FOMC a couple of weeks ago. But keep in mind that a lot of that hawkishness came in the press conference where Fed Chair Powell is talking inflation, inflation, inflation. All throughout that press conference, these minutes could come out and sound a lot more, not necessarily dovish, but calculated. Like, yes, we're worried about inflation, but we're not going crazy over here. Keep in mind that this run up in 2-year yields, this run up in rates has factored in a plus of 2 to 3 more rate hikes for just this year in the last week or so since that FOMC. So I don't really expect them to come out, release these minutes, Brendan. It's even more hawkish, and we see another rate hike or two tacked on top. I think you might see a little bit of calculated speak from these minutes. And if we don't get more of that hawkish, extreme inflationary worry language out of some of these talks, then at some point this ball stops rolling in that upward direction and we lose a little of that velocity. And it doesn't necessarily take a big news item like, developments in Russia and Ukraine or something like that to back off this short-term rate market, 10 to 20 basis points. Just if we lose a little bit of that steam, lose a little bit of that worry, we might retrace a good portion of that move, even if the FOMC minutes aren't, like I say, dovish.
More to come, as you mentioned there. Going to be, as short-term traders, we have to go where the action is, right? And no better place, as you said, than what is happening right now in these markets. I want to get your take on crude oil quickly here before we let you get back to it. Another move higher here this morning for crude.
Yeah, this is one of those that I think every time we drop below $100, everyone's condemning this crude oil market for a return to more normal prices, $70-80. But I really, really think that we'll continue to see some volatility back and forth in this 90 to 110 range, now bouncing off of that 100 number from last week. And I'm going to be trading both sides of this. If this crude oil market gets another $1 or $2 to the upside, I'm probably going to be selling. If by the end of the week we're above 110 or we're below 90, I'm going to probably be taking a longer term position against that direction. As you can see here, this is a classic coiling market where you're seeing volatility reduce a little bit from that initial Russian-Ukraine news, but trip up to 120, back off to 95, up to 115, back off to 98, 99 and change there. And I think that we could continue to play both sides of this range. Again, yes, we've been talking about crude the last few weeks. Yes, we've been talking about interest rates, but those are the volatile markets that even this morning are showing us some big moves as equity indices are largely unchanged. So you got to go to those volatile markets, and hopefully now you have some stats to go at them with.
Yeah, more headlines driving, it looks like anyways, these moves in oil, but always exciting. Guys, check out smallexchange.com for more info. Frank Caberna, head of product content and creative at the Small Exchange in Chicago. We appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, Brendan.
Have a great one. Interesting look there, guys. Another, as we said, move higher here for energy markets.
Yeah, and look, there's no way you can't get around watching energy markets. Like I said, I'm going to be watching a little bit of tell as that was going on. And thank you for Mark for coming on. Frank for coming on there. A lot happening in Twitter. First, there was an iceberg order at 47.50. It was barcoding in that range. I did get in front of it at like 45, and then when it broke, just got out and took the 6 cents. It took the 6 cent hit, but it is back to a key level here in front of 48. Which I've taken. On the daily, there's really not a heck of a lot to look at, but you can sort of see the last time it had kind of a consolidation after a big move, it was right at that 48 level before dropping back down, held up as resistance once again at about 48.25. So through there, you've got this little channel 52 to 55 to the upside, but this is the first one to be concerned with. I know we've traded through it back and forth in the pre-market, but it did break that down at 8 o'clock. So I'm short in front of 48.50. I'll give it to that. If it breaks, I think you're probably talking about 50 to that 52. But Twitter, volume leader so far today, at least I want to think it is, up at about 16 million shares. And I kind of feel like that's going to stay. I like DWAC, don't get me wrong. And I think DWAC's going to be a trade as well. But Twitter is the one that's doing more volume. I think we'll be more active in Twitter.
Yeah, we, as of right here, you see the sticky note here. We talked about Twitter, and we obviously like the 44 to 42 level. But if you see here, we thought the break of 48 gets us to that 50. The thing is, it took 48, and now it's taking it for sure. And we got out there. It took 48. We got in, but it didn't break. So I was like, what? So we did get some out at 47.95 or something like that. And then now here's the official break on Twitter through 48. So I like it. We'll see where it goes from here. It just stopped again at 48.11. I think, first area would be, near like what Neil was saying, that 48.50 looks like a pretty good trade if we can get back up there. Right now we're long into Twitter, we're long GGPI, and we're short Starbucks with a half hour to go. Just a quick look here before we go over to Brendan. The imbalance locator has Twitter. This, again, being long, I don't really like to see a buy here, and I've sort of explained why, but being long right now, 700,000 shares into a buy for Twitter, so let's see what happens. We just take out that 48. Obviously, we'll wait till 9 o'clock when more retail comes in. No worries about any of these positions right now. These aren't big monster positions at all. We just thought a break of 48 got us close to 50. So let's see. It just broke 48. Let's let this settle down a little bit. And we're just bouncing around here on Twitter. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if this news is going to be higher from here. You're up 22% on Twitter. So it took out that 48 level, which is what we liked. Rate VWAP, right at some key levels on the daily. So it's a level that we wrote down. So let's see if it holds 47 now as it's dancing here, Brendo.
That might be on this board tomorrow in Twitter. Here we go. Upgrades and downgrades, guys. Logitech, Neo, Tesla, and that SPWR a couple days in a row for SunPower on the clean energy side of things. Crocs, Disney to the downside, Spotify, and Visa, guys.
Yeah, Crocs down again. It was a bad week last week for Crocs. I mean, it felt like $10, and now you're breaking the shelf at 75. This is another name that it's very similar to, like, if you look at Starbucks below 90, Crocs below 75 here is very, very weak on the chart. So it's not really done any volume. It just has a downgrade going for it. It's on the radar, but I'd like to see it do a little bit more volume. In this range, it looks really good. Room down to like 66 to 70 or so. And, just something which structurally, it's like double top on the 15. You've got all kinds of resistance on the daily chart at that same level, the double top that got put in at 85. And now you're breaking the bottom of this shelf, and that sort of takes you down into 65. So, nothing too crazy. It gets a downgrade as well, but the volume not necessarily there for Crocs just yet. I love them. The problem is I've had the same pair of Crocs, and I don't even know how long I've had them, and they're still good. It's like, why would I even need to buy a new pair? But I guess
that's part of the problem.
That's part of the problem.
Is how good they are and how the longevity, not longeveron, of those things. Yeah, we'll have to check out longeveron. Disney gets downgraded today, so you can see here on a 20-minute chart, we're just near the bottom. So that's not Disney's price, 117. There it is, 136 right now. So we're going to wait to see if it does take down this 135.50, which was the bottom wick made there on Friday. So we'll wait to see if it can take it down. I haven't read the note really on why they downgraded Disney, but again, travel, and we were just the wife and I were just talking about this and saying that there's a couple of our friends that are starting to think about going to Disney. And, I guess a lot of you have probably already gone. And, it's reopened now. I think Shanghai is obviously a problem there. And I don't know. I don't think content's going to be too much of a problem for Disney. They keep hitting it out of the park with some of these movies and whatnot that they've had in Canto. We talked about that, about how successful I think that was as well. But anyways, we'll find out more about that downgrade. It's just you do have room back down here to 130, and I just feel like it's a reopen play. Disney, I like it for this year. I still do like it. I haven't put more money to work in Disney or anything like that. We got out of the way, and this was a long time ago. Whoops, we don't want to zoom in too much. We got out of the way up here at 180. We dumped about half of our position on Disney before earnings. We just smelt something was wrong there with Disney at this 180 level. We turned out to be right. But if you zoom back, you do have a lot of protection here. 120, 125. This was a name that I was buying a lot of down here, which is why I'm a little bit concerned about this position. But we're still long down here, $85, $90 on Disney. Didn't take full advantage of it and should have got out at 200. But like I said, we did get some out there at 180. Now we'll see what happens here. It's coming right in. And if it comes in to 120-ish, like down here, which isn't that far away, man. I mean, it's only 130 right now. You can come into that 120, 125 area. That's where I'd feel more comfortable buying DIS.
All right, let's bring in Arun here, get a check of the overall market. We're back to basically flat overall after a slight move higher there. Arun, what are you looking at?
It really hasn't not much has changed since Friday's closing move, right? We got that pop from the 20s into the mid 30s into the 40s, and then we're kind of drifting a little bit. I think that's still going to be the game or the way we're going to play this one here, even though if the market comes back a little bit, I would prefer that actually. 44.75 is a support level, so long bias going into that, so we can hopefully get a support bid somewhere in the 45.15 area. So 45.15 going on down to 44.75 would be a potential long. Bias would be to the long side, but you have to respect the fact that the market has some decent strength on the sell side north of 50. So here we are sitting in the 40s, too far away from the support point, close to resistance. Possible shorts are on the table south of 45.60, but a couple shots here. 45.60 breaks, you go for the long, that's available. Potential short setup in front of 45.60, that's available if we were to get above 45.50 and then run the setup. If we were to just drift down, that 45.15 long going down to 44.75 is available. If we come down fast, then you stand back, wait for it to kind of slow down, get the setup in, then you go for the trade, because the market is, flat, right? 0.05 on the S&P, 0.19 on the NASDAQ. It really hasn't done much. So we're going to have to wait for this market to pick up some steam, whichever direction it chooses to go in, and however it wants to play, that's the way you're going to have to go with it. But the levels are there. The break potential on the upside is definitely there. So let's see if we can actually grab along in the right locations, either above 60 or on a slow move down towards that 15, at which point it sets up well, and then you go for the long and see if you can take out the high.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. Just popping up here, guys. Roku, multi-year extension for its distribution agreement with Amazon. So a nice move here for Roku, up $5 or $6. 4% to the upside for Roku. Sean, another one that's been just crushed over the past couple of months, but 130, bit of an area for Roku, it would look like.
We just got, so first of all, Twitter just broke 48, so we got a nice little bump there. We got out some at 48.25, next level up 48.50. So, and then we'll see 50 hopefully later on that one. But we're doing pretty good here this morning, so far so good. Okay, so Roku, yeah. What was the news? Extension, yeah, with Amazon, so that's good. They actually reached an extension with Google, if you remember, with YouTube not too far ago, and then I believe maybe we could find the date for that, but I think it was it this pardon? Oh, sorry, I thought someone announced the date there. It was one of these pops when they got it. It might have been all the way back here in December. I'm feeling like it could have been February, though, as well. The point is that they got the extension with YouTube, they popped, and then they dropped. So it's always a good sign when Roku, being added, it's you know, it's more about the environment and what you're playing with. So being able to be added onto the Fire Sticks and then YouTube content being allowed as well through Roku sticks and Roku platform, I think is a big thing. And what I was getting at is the ecosystem. That's the word, not environment. The ecosystem of smart TVs is going to win out. It already is. You know, terrestrial cables, finished with, as far as I know. Put it in the note if you guys still have cable, unless you're a business or something. A lot of old businesses still have cable, but you know, my kids, they love the smart TVs, and I think Roku's doing good. They have some of their own content as well. Again, I'm going to say the same thing. I don't know anybody that owns a Roku, but I do know, without being stubborn, you know, I do know that Roku is involved with the TVs themselves. Putting, I think it was TCL they had to deal with, and putting their software, I believe in, they also have some sort of a software deal with Samsung as well. I'm not a Roku shareholder, but we're trying to get above some of these levels on the daily. So look, I've already called this. Some of these stocks have this kind of wartime premium to the downside. I know what that, I forget what that's called, to the downside there. So we're going to see if we can get above this 140. If you do it for Roku, you're in luck, and I think you got a winner there. And talk about a winner right now. Chicken dinners all over the place here as we're smoking this morning, and it's GGPI. We'll see if that one can work for us. Starbucks already 50 cents in the money and going down. And then it's way too early to ring any kind of register or call Twitter a victory by any stretch of the imagination. 9 o'clock showed up. We took one piece out. It's battling at 48.25. But watch out for Twitter here going. Man, this is going to be an interesting morning, Neil. Already 25 minutes to go, and I'm already in 3 positions, and you're in 2. So this is going to be a busy one.
Yeah, it's one of those good Mondays, man. And you said it about Roku. I'm going to set an alert for that 140, 142. And I think that's what you got to do. It's just, I know it's consolidating the range. It's got some news here today. But when it gets through a price like that, support into resistance, right back to resistance, the 50 period, let's go. It just needs to be that. And someone asked quickly on the chat, they're like, oh, so what's the strategy? Twitter, one long, one short. Remember, we're day trading. That's an important thing. So it's really more about the levels. I'll come to the daily chart so you can really see here. You've got one channel up here, 52 to 55. The second level is about 48 here. So I'm just shorting in front of that 48 to 48.50, which we mentioned before. There was a breakdown that price this morning. I'm just going to take my out at that 48.5 level. That's really all that matters here for Twitter. So if it breaks it, then I'm out. Technically, both could almost win on a scalp trade.
David over here. I was just about, come here, David. David, I was just about to, thank you so much. We haven't even met before, Sean. David, how are you? Pleasure. David hooked up the coffee. My mic just fell, so that's fine. But thank you, David, for the coffee, man. I was just about to get up to get one, and he's like, no, man, I got you one. You know what? Having these traders around here isn't all bad.
I'll take it, man.
Did David hook you up last week, I think, didn't
Well, you know, so what happened is I was complaining about the coffee on the show.
Right.
I guess, you know, you're supposed to clean the machines every now and then. Maybe that's what it was.
Well, we're not supposed to, but yeah.
Well, it had that, like, I don't know, like soapy taste, or there was something,
I got
something
you.
off about it anyways.
Now I owe David a coffee. Nice one, David.
I think I owe a lot of these. Victor, I owe like...
You owe some donuts and everything to these guys?
Donuts. No, man. I
What is
don't
going
need a
on?
donut today.
Neil wants more apple fritters, guys. Get on that.
It's going to be out of control.
Cheers. Thank you to David, man. Thank you very much, David. Very kind of you. And over to you now, Brendo and Miss V.
Let's get into everything else we need to know, guys, heading towards the open here. If you missed the headline, I don't know what you've been doing this morning, but here we go. Elon, 9.2% stake in Twitter. Top of the watch list this morning, guys. Twitter, you just discussed it a little bit there, but 23% initially. It's higher than that now. It's 73.5 million shares total. So that, Neil, you and I were kind of discussing this a little bit this morning in the sense that, you know, this is not like he just stepped in and bought 73.5 million shares all at the same time. This has maybe been a work in progress over the past little while.
I mean, it's got to be. And this is, for those that are like, oh yeah, I kind of said it under my breath, the SEC is going to call him. But the truth of the matter is, it's not like when he had that Twitter conversation, essentially bashing and sort of maybe criticizing, whatever you want to call it. Look, man, he already would have had that stake before. Like, it's not like he did that and just recently bought the shares. That would be impressive if he managed to get that many shares in that short of a time. But so he must have done it before. So him bashing it when he was already a shareholder doesn't really make a difference. I just tend to think if you're a Twitter shareholder, there's going to be some people who want to take profit. I just look at what happened with, and I'm not saying he's going to take it private, but I look at what happened with Peloton. You see something like that type of interest, you get the big bounce to the upside and the speculation, and then shareholders just take an opportunity to bag some profits. So that's the first look for me. And when we get to these resistance levels, I just want to be shorted. And that 48 was that first one on the daily chart. We went over it a couple of times, then resisted 48.25. And we give it to the 50s. I might take more shares if we're still holding this level at the open, but we still have 20 minutes to go here. It's done tons of volume, by the way. We still have 20 minutes to go, but that's the first level I'm looking at. I think it gets above that 48.50. I think you've got runway to 50, and maybe even the 200 period up at like 51.5, 52. It's pretty clear between those levels. So the first one I want to play short.
Man, David coming up pretty clutch here. David getting a lot of love on the chat, and so thank you so much, David, for that one. Now I got to take him to go get another coffee, and then we'll talk trading. I see what's going to happen here. Good move, David. But okay, so all right, let's just go. Twitter, I don't have much different to say than Neil, obviously. I know he's short, I'm long, but I think we have sort of the same opinions here. Let's just see what happens when this thing cracks through. You still have 20 minutes before we open. It's doing a ton of volume right now. I'm long right here. We just did get another long down here, 47.60. So we've averaged in on this play. So our average price now is 47.90, 96. So it's not like it's a monster difference here. In at 48 break, we talked about that twice. First time failed, so we got out for 5-cent hit. Then we took it again. Then we took a 25-cent winner and got some out at 48.25. But by some, I literally mean some. We got out of like 10%. And then there was the reload back here at the 50 period. So, you know, we're reloading Twitter in. Let's just see if it takes down 47. I mean, I don't want to be in this for a long time. So we don't have as many shares that I have to worry about this. But the one trade that I am waiting for is 44. Like if we can, let me go back down here to the daily chart. So if you could check this out, I actually had some lines drawn as well. That's not on this chart, but 44 bucks right here. I like the long if we broke back above it, and now we're above it. So let's see if we can hold this 44 area. I have no idea what this stake means. I don't think Elon has any worries at all. This might just be like a side project. Let's see if I do things like this, what happens to the market. You know, he dabbled in Dogecoin, talking about that stuff. We already know Shiba Inu, Bitcoin, all this kind of stuff. So let's just see if he makes the same noise here with Twitter. That's all that I'm really waiting for. If the minions unite around Tesla and Elon Musk, like I believe they will, like I have right now, they'll circle the wagon around Twitter and see if it gets up to 50 bucks. That's really the high that I think we can get to today. If we get to that, then I think we'll fade 50. But hey, we'll be long into it, and I don't know what's going to happen once we get there. So a nice little move back down. I'm not doing anything till 44, which means that I'm going to average into this position, so I don't have an out on the way down. So let's just wait. This is not a big position. It's like about a third of what I'm willing to hold. So let's wait to see here. I believe in this move. Let's just see if it's going to hold up to the upside. Twitter needs to be on naturally everybody's radar here today.
Tesla might as well. Elon all over the headlines today. 310,000 in Q1 versus 308. So 310 versus 308. The production number, though, not as good as expected. Some COVID worries still for manufacturing for Tesla, but monster, obviously monster number.
Look, obviously you knew their numbers were going to be big relative to to last year. We saw that with all the Chinese EV makers as well, and Tesla's going to beat them because they've been at the front of the supply chain. It gets efficiencies. They've been so efficient, they've been so fantastic through all of this. And it's because they're forward-looking. It's because they've been doing it. And quite frankly, Elon's a genius. And I think we all understand that. But the stock's not doing much today. That's just no other way to put it. Like you're seeing us in Tesla or in Twitter. I'm not even in Tesla. I know 1100 is a top here. I still like the dip buy, probably not to 1040, but like 1050 to 1060. I'm just not sure we're going to be able to get there. I'm a little surprised that there isn't more action in there coming off of the delivery number, whether it had popped to that 1117 for a potential breakout or a fade off that level, or maybe if we'd sold the news and there was a chance to buy it. Instead, we're doing absolutely nothing in Twitter. Oh, sorry, in Tesla. Now I'm going to say Twitter every time. So I'm probably going to end up sitting Tesla out unless we get a chance to trade off 1100. Maybe there's a curl off the open. If we get down to 1050 or 1050, 1060, I love those levels down there for Tesla. But yeah, it turns out there might not be a day trade in Tesla, which is fine. You can't always want to trade this stock every single day. When it only wants to move $10 or 10, 20 bucks on a range for a $1,100 stock, you have to ask yourself, would you be excited to trade a $10 stock that wanted to move a couple pennies? You probably wouldn't be. So Tesla's not for trading every single day as a day trader.
No, so I've gotten into Tesla. I talked about it. I was scared. I mean, this is the thing. Amerzing was talking about this when it was at $800. I thought we were going to go lower, right? And I think what you got to do, and now I bought it. So I just bought it the other day at 1070. 1065, something like that, but just Friday. So the thing is that it's just a momentum game with Tesla. You know, as it's coming back down here, obviously that 750 was a great level. It held and didn't break, so you didn't get that 650 level that we thought, you know, might come into play. And then it was just momentum right up to the upside. So I like Tesla here. Like Neil said, you don't have to trade it every day. 500,000 shares is real nice though for it. It may get left today by, you know, to the side as everything, you know, someone put in the chat, and I feel bad about always saying this. It's like they said they're going to take a shot every time we mention the word Elon or Musk or something like that.
Really? Oh, that's...
This person must be
it's
tanked right now. And so I don't mean to keep on saying it, but you know, it's just one of those things where it might get left to sort of trade on its own today. But again, I like Tesla. The delivery numbers were good. I saw some. I thought the consensus was like around 317. They got about 310, which is still higher, their highest level ever for that. And they came out on what, Saturday? So I was a little bit nervous because I was like, oh God, I just bought the stock. Let's see what it does on Monday. But you're still up that 0.45%, which is double the market right now. Tesla just continues to be owned by, you know, institutions. They're going to throw out that dividend soon. Well, bring it in, but throw it into the market. That dividend hopefully soon. And then you have the talk of the stock split. So that's why I'm back long this name. Sure, we should have been long, like being long to say like, oh, you should be long 800. Why are you long 1070? Well, that's obvious, right? I should have been long Twitter on Friday afternoon, I guess, as well. But we're just playing momentum here and price action. So I like Tesla. It's been up, what, 9 of the last 11 days, something like that, which has been incredible. Obviously, the market's been up as well. But there it is, like boom, 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 boom. You had a couple days here, two or so down days. And then now we'll see if we can make another one to the upside here. So I'm not concerned about Tesla because I have Twitter, Starbucks, and then the name. And I think we'll probably get to it if we have enough time. But I'm still into Polestar right now, which to me, I like better than Tesla today just because there's that news. Not better as a shareholder. I don't own any Polestar, but I like the way this stock is moving. So I think my EV look, and there goes Twitter right now again, breaking through 48. I have another offer at 48.20 to get out because we just did that reload. So we'll see if we can take another 25 cents on Twitter. But hey, as I keep on talking, the market's getting closer to opening here, Brendo.
All right, let's talk some China ADRs then. We mentioned on Friday more movement from Chinese regulators in the direction that would favor the SEC being able to open the books essentially on these and see what they need to see. So this was on the weekend, China coming out saying they've proposed revisions to a confidentiality rule that would involve these offshore listings, which would be more movement in the right direction here. So a nice bump again today for a lot of these.
Yeah, and I think you pick your poison as to which stock you like. I'm just always going to go with the one that has the best setup. Every time I trade BABA or NEO instead of just, and it's been twice that I missed out on Pinduoduo. I've always regretted it. So here's 47 on the daily chart. You can kind of see we did get through that price a couple of weeks ago, but it was support that got broken down to $20 Pinduoduo went to. Like how insane is that? Some of those bottoms that we saw. But you're gapping right into this 47 level again. So it sets right up for a break. 47 break on PDD. Actually had an alert set for this. I don't have to worry about that alert now because it looks like we might take that one out. Tight consolidation on that gap upside. Always watch out for a fail break at this level because if it rejects it, you could see 42, 44 pretty quickly incoming. But we've seen this when it can run. And I've been waiting around for this level to get taken again. So 47. PDD is the one for me. I think there's this. You can look at Alibaba. Neo's on the move as well. But I just really love this level on Pinduoduo.
Okay, we're going to go backflip as well because there goes Twitter. We just took some out at 15. It does appear that there is some sort of a iceberg here at 15. It doesn't want to break 15 here. So 40, look at all the size it's going through. Look at these numbers. Big time offers going. There it is. Thank you very much. Come again, Twitter. Let's go. Get me out at 40 right now if we can get that. We're sitting at, I thought I was. Did I just go? Oh, I just got it. That's why we're not there anymore. Bang, with a nice little 60-cent win right there on Twitter. The money's just spitting out right now. Short Starbucks, 55 cents in the money. Long Twitter, 55 cents in the money. And then long GGPI, a dime piece right now. Let's go over to Miss V. What up?
Hey guys, just around 12 minutes left until the opening bell, and we ask you, please help us to get at least 1K likes before this happening. Like this video, and let's continue with Brandon.
Yeah, let's continue along, guys. Just saw a note on Ford there. I was double checking, not really moving, but they were talking about updating their supply chain and chip shortage, but not much movement in Ford. AMD, meanwhile, goes shopping this morning, picking up this Pensando for a mere $1.9 billion. Cloud-based company, private though, Pensando, 1.9 billion there for AMD, guys.
I was just saying earlier that, well, on our breath, we were talking to each other, just that AMD wasn't really doing a heck of a lot this morning, and then it makes this break a little bit at that 109 level, but on light volume. It's done 1 million shares in volume, but a lot of that's come over those overnight dark pools. 109 was the key price, so 109 break has happened here now. I look for it to hold up support there. I wanted to see better volume than that in the pre-market. Just remember, all of the chip names, and I mean all of them, have had these sort of wild opening rides where unless you got a really good level, you kind of want to let things settle down a little bit. But AMD, when we made that floor on Thursday, like that was this 109 on one of the weakest days you will ever find. It then broke that level and ran away from it. You're reclaiming this 109. It just looks like a great entry price to me. You probably have to give it back to 108, but it's a pretty long channel that if it holds above, there's so much room to fill in the gap on AMD. I just a little surprised that the volume was already so low on it, but now it's starting to kick up here, and it is to the buy side. So I do like AMD for a bit of a relief here at that 109 level.
We just got another piece out on Starbucks. It's not really moving, so we'll take 50 cents right now. We're still holding more than half. We're holding 60% of Starbucks, and we're holding, I don't know, 60%, I guess, of Twitter as well, as we got some there out at 48.40. Yeah, I like AMD. I didn't put it on the list today, or is it on here? No, it's not. Facebook is on here, so I'm going to talk about Facebook real quick if we can get to that. Neil just did AMD, so I like this 223 level. Oh no, it says .z. Okay, so we're going to have to wait for this. It's not going to load. But hold on a second. Let me just bring this up to you on a different platform quickly. Here's Facebook, and just so you guys can see, it's that same level that we've talked about before. We talked about 225 in there, but now look at this, 223 down here. We had some nice bottoms. You also did get a nice, I mean, I don't know, I can't really, I guess I could zoom in a little bit here. I don't want to ruin the chart. There it is. 224 bottoms, but here's the 223 that sort of held out. If the market does come in, obviously we're short Starbucks now and long Twitter, so I don't really care too much about the market. But if it comes back in, we'll see a 223 or so bid with that bottom being 222. This is only 2 days worth of data. I mean, this could easily break to the downside, but I do like Facebook here today. Now the chart's loaded back up on our side. So if you look at the daily chart here for Facebook, it's made a beautiful little U back up. So we'll have to check that out right here. I missed if Miss V addressed that super chat, but obviously our thoughts all out there to Sacramento. I don't know much about that story, but thank you for the super chat, and everybody in Sacramento. Obviously, our hearts are with you.
Let's go to Mullen quickly, guys. Not a huge headline for MULN, but a move, nevertheless, quietly up 5.5% here in the pre-market. They promoted this John Taylor, who is a former Tesla executive, to a new position for MULN. I was looking at this SPI. I'll talk about that in a sec. What do we think of Mullen, guys?
Well, it's back on the move, which means, and it's done some decent volume, so we're going to watch it, obviously. It broke down that 280 level that we liked last week. It managed to break that, turn it into resistance before, and then was kind of back and forth between that same price in a sloppy manner. So there was really no trade for me there. But I like the 280 once again. If you're going to gap above and give us another crack at it, this is what it was when it gapped away from it, pulled back from 420, double bottom, and then tried to run. And then you can see it run away from that price before. So that's the level to defend. I think it's at $3 right now, but that's more of a psychological round number than anything else. The 280 is where I would rather go long in front of. And if it can break back from that 280 level, hey, 320 is a pretty good return. 340, 350 is obvious resistance, as you can see. That's the lower high. But I want to be patient with Mullen. It's not nearly as explosive as it was when it made its first run a couple of weeks ago. So it's turned into, make sure you get a good price because it's not going to give you as big of a return. So I think that's got to be a long in front of 280, and I'm not willing to jump in front of this 3. Last time it was at this price, we went long at 3, got a bounce, and then went long at 280. Today, I'm only going for 280.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at NEO here. I mean, I'm already in Polestar, so, but that's because of the Hertz news. Again, very, very small position. We do like Polestar back near 1150. NEO, I'm just showing you Friday, I guess it was Friday. It does have sometimes these crazy moves off the open, so we're gonna wait to see if NEO comes back into 22 bucks. That's where it closed. You're up that 5%, and I wrote down here on the sticky note, you can find it at Trader TV Sean, but that this 22 level has been pretty decent down here. You know, we dipped down in, held this 2150, then closed near 22. 22 was a top over here. And as you look, just, I mean, you can really just data mine and pick any of these levels as you go. But I like this 22 level right here as some support. Was the tops all through here. And if we do break it, then I don't think you need to panic until you break through 2150. So let's see if NEO comes back in. Look, it's up 5%. It can drop that 5% again back to 22. So if it does that, I'm going to be sitting there looking to take some longs through 22. I mean, if it comes back in, we'll test at 22. We might get out if it breaks 22, but then we'll try to load back up through 2450. And right now, Twitter taking out some of those pre-market highs. I mean, not the very high, but these highs of that 48.50. So there it is right there. Twitter looking like it wants to go. My next offer is at 48.90. So let's see if it does take that out. But just bouncing right now, a 50-cent win there and a 50-cent win in Starbucks.
All right, under 5 minutes to go. Let's talk about SPI Energy, a renewable energy name, also a former squeeze stock as well. It's gone a couple of times, the last time all the way up to $8. 17 million share float, so that's remember that. This thing went on Friday after the close on an upbeat full year forecast. So they increased their targets for the year after the close on Friday. 350 is pre-market support. Above that on the daily chart, 450, pretty clear levels. So wide range to work with. Not going to be a short for me unless it's below 350, guys.
Yeah, I'm similar, but a bit of a small different approach. The one level I like on SPI, because you can see I'm already in SPI here. The one level I do like on SPI, we talked about on the daily chart. It was this sort of head and shoulders idea at the 365 level. When it fails something like this on a failed break, to me that is a breakout on the higher time frame, and once it gets below, I like the consolidation below. So I've taken that short, but that's not giving it to that 450 level. That's giving it to the high that it just put in, which is 380. If it takes out 380, you really have to think about waiting for that 450 level to come in there. So SPI, I look at that 350 as well. I'm not even on the bid right now because that 350 breaks, and I think you want to be out on the other side of it, and probably worth even adding on a 350 break. So with only about 3.5 minutes to go, there is a lot to look at, and I promised you guys that I would, one stock that I wouldn't ignore would be Tellurian. Now, Nat Gas has been a little bit weaker. It's basically flat in the session, but had pulled back a few points. When I look at it, it's not moving a ton, not worth it. And Tell decides to break out anyways with an early break. I was looking to see if we'd actually catch a bid on Nat Gas before even taking this breakout, but if it just wants to do this, I'm going to try and get some 650s here because maybe give it back to 640 for a tight stop. But it just feels like the stock, every single time it has like one of these double tops and breaks, you can see it then rally for the rest of the day. Every other time we've had like strength in natural gas prices, so it's felt a little bit easier to do. This time it was in the midst of a bit of a pullback that I saw that level break. So I didn't really want to have it in the pre-market, but we're at the open now. So I'll try to get in front of this 650 area on Tell, but I don't like it as much as when we were trading into those highs. Last week was a much stronger bounce off of a bottom. Now we're trying to break out with Nat Gas futures not really helping yet.
This was a stock, obviously, that we traded on Friday. Just didn't have the big moves that we had sort of hoped it would there on Friday. Realistically, it had a couple moves. You could see here, I just battled it basically all morning and then left it for dead a little bit, and then it didn't die. It went to 22.50 and then rallied sort of the rest of the afternoon before ending the day right where we're at right now, 23.50. So we'll look at AMC. It's only 550,000 shares right now, but this is a name not to be forgotten. That 22 looks to be I guess I was going to say a strong, but maybe a solid bottom there. It could easily break, but you have that top also back in March of 22 and then a breaking spot there, and we've never come back to it. So we've come back and tested it, but we've never broken it. So watch out for $22 there again. And there it is, man. We'll just take some more cash on Twitter. We got out this time at 50 as it just ripped back, right back up there to those levels. So there it is, Twitter. Now our long average price is 47.90, but we're already doing nice, man. We've already hit our sort sort of our, I mean, we've hit a goal now, kind of 1 times our daily goal, but we're always trying to make more than that. And then there goes also, look at Starbucks. I mean, this is also $1 in the money right now on Starbucks, and we just got 87.50, which was that clean dollar. On the sticky note today, short Starbucks 88.50, that's $1 in the money. Long Twitter 48. You know, that's 50 cents in the money and bouncing around. Who knows where that's going to wind up. And then Polestar is the only problem that we have, and that's not even a close to one because the amount of shares I have is negligible. We'll see if we get back to 11.50. With only a minute to go, the imbalances look like this. FAMI, what's up with the mushroom clowns out there right now? That stock is up and down like crazy. NEO was a stock that we just talked about as well. Twitter, BABA. Is FAMI still? Yeah, 15 cents. Yuck. I was wondering if that was near $1, but it's not. We're up huge right now as Starbucks tanking and Twitter ripping. Let's see what happens when this market opens up.
Yeah, and Miss V may not know it, but she's making a statement with the baby blue today.
She has no idea.
She has no clue, but North Carolina, of course, playing for the national championship, and every time she's in it, I say that North Carolina blue coming into play. So obviously, a lot of Kansas fans out there are going to be loving you, Miss V. I tend to think North Carolina is going to pull it off today. I love what they've done, had an unbelievable run, but it is Monday. We got action, we got the countdown. Let's get this party started in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. Oh, just got Crocs.
All right, let's go. Twitter on the way down there. Good thing we took some out. We'll see what happens there. GGPI, NEO, Twitter. That's all the names that we're looking at. Here comes Twitter back down to 48. Watch out for this. We talked about what happens off the open with these imbalances. So Twitter making some moves right now. Back down in. Taking down, well, now back up. I was going to say taking it down. And here we go. Let's go, Twitter, man. We're huge in the money right now. Obviously, $1 plus now as Twitter ripping faces off. There it is. Out at 48.90. Let's go 49, 49.50. Twitter. It's the Diamond Hand Man is in the building right now. Let's see what happens at $50.
Yeah, I got out of Twitter when it made that bit of a break, and then immediately got snacked into Crocs here because remember that one, the downgrade, we got the short in front of 75. It's starting to scream market going upside here as we are watching closely. Tel also pulled back in as well. DWAC, I did not get the position in just yet. SPI is starting to fall. But that's going to be one that we have to watch carefully off that high of the day. I will only take more shares if it pops below that 350 level. That's where it's going to be an ad.
Okay, yeah, so beautiful move upside. We just got some out there at 49.60 for Twitter. So yeah, we win on that one for now. So let's see how far that one wants to go. Starbucks, it just took out 88 and we got out, but then it came right back down. So let's now see what happens here as we're testing this 88. I still like the short upside, but I mean, again, the market's going to tell us what we have to do with this name. And right now, Starbucks will remain short. 45 cents, 80 cents there in the money. $1.15 now in the money for Twitter as well. And that's about it. The only other name that I was looking at here was NIO to start early, and now it's starting to fade back down. We obviously have that 22 area that we were talking about, and then Neil just mentioned AMD.
Yeah, AMD just came into play as well. So that 109 first leg in on AMD just played in. I got 109.21 just in front of that 109. I'm giving it to that 108 quarter sort of level there in the pre-market. We just like, it's not really about the news so much as it's trying to reclaim that level on the 15-minute time frame. Crocs came right up, tested that 75 high, didn't quite get there. I know these wicks are a little bit ridiculous and it's a bit deceiving. It got to about 74.50 and immediately started reversing. I'm going to get some out in front of the pre-market low, try and bag some of the profit if we get whipsaw action back and forth off of those opens. We've seen that before. We don't want to get absolutely burned by not taking any profit. I'll show you Tellurian there because it's starting to come back in. We like 740. For a possible consolidation. If we can't hold it, we just stopped out. It's starting to absolutely flush. I can show you what's not happening in natural gas. It's not really moving. So nothing happened in NG, which leads me to believe there will be a floor on this stock. But you have to have your out. I said 640 we'll give it to. Didn't like the break quite as much as the other ones we liked last week. But there goes AMD already back to the upside. So we'll give it one of these. As it snaps off 109 back into this 110 area, I'm going to take some profit like we usually do with that 50-cent mark and then some out in front of the high of the day if we can, but starting to go big to the upside. And remember, SPI, if it breaks that 350, watch out below.
Yeah, that 109, good level there for sure on AMD. Okay, yeah, we're doing pretty nicely there. We got out of our Twitter again, doubled it up again, got out some at 49, got some our best out 49.60, and then when it broke down through 48, we took another piece out there because you can see where our long is 47.60 now coming into jeopardy. We're already out of Twitter, man. We have literally 10% left of this name, so we're gonna watch to see where it goes. And then look what we did on GGPR. Gronk spiked that one. Some reason this thing goes up to 60 there. We get out at 55, or was it 56? It was 56 there on GGPI as this one's falling back in. Starbucks starting to go back up, so that looks like that might have been a good out there at 88. Our best out, of course, 87.50. That happened in the pre-market. I still like the short up to this 89 mark, but again, the market's going to tell us what to do here with Starbucks. I don't like that they canceled that buyback, but hey, it doesn't seem like it's doing that bad for them. What's up, Brendo?
Nice move back higher here for DWAC right out of the gate, guys. Held 54 there at the open. Huge volume back high side for DWAC.
Yeah, DWAC, that's another one. Like, I actually accidentally got a long because I canceled an offer right before the open, but still had to stop on it.
Yeah.
So got in and out of a long. It'll show that I made money. I basically paid the spread. But what I just saw on Twitter there, we took the consolidation short. It then failed the break of that key level. It's holding right in the same consolidation. So if I see a wick off top, you kind of know what the plan is going to be. It's kind of jump back into it. If it takes out that high again, fair enough. We'll go over 2 on Twitter. But that is it. That's every single sign of a wick off top that I'm used to seeing. So we just jumped into that one once again. SPI just broke 350. So this one's going timber to the downside. We ended up taking some more shares through that 350 like we mentioned we would. I don't know if it gets to $3 where it closed previously, but once these things make a rejection on the higher time frame, a lot of times that's a sign that you want to be able to get into the other side of the trade. So SPI starting to fall down. As always, with a breakout trade, we had a consolidation. With a breakout, I want to scalp some almost right away. And the one long we got GGPI. That we need to get back to 1180. AMD goes right off of this 109.50 area, 50.60 area, and then starts slamming back to the downside. So we just miss our chance to get the first leg out. I don't love the reload in front of this 108.40. I'm just going to get out of it. We should have already taken some of that scalp trade out. We didn't quite catch it. Moving around like gangbusters at the open, which you see happen all the time, guys. Things need to settle out. The NASDAQ just shot up. Meanwhile, the ES is headed in the other direction, so clearly this market needs to figure itself out a little bit here. Crocs holding pretty nicely. We got a couple legs out in front of the pre-market low, so we can now rinse and repeat in front of 75 for that short trade. They just got a downgrade. That's all the news was with Crocs.
Yeah, we're pretty happy right now as Starbucks continuing its move to the downside right now. Let's put something else. Wow, this is really going down to the downside here. Let's put something else on the bid and see if we can take it. We just averaged in, man, the average in man here on Starbucks. Yes, sir. Like I was just telling you, why did it go back up to the upside and we just got reloaded right there on this Starbucks short, man. 88.10, we took it. We marketed into this one. I was just like, I'm not sitting on the offer. Who cares? Boom, to the downside. There goes Starbucks now with a very, very nice win for us. I'm not going to mess around too much with this Polestar. We just took another bid there at 12.10. I don't know why this ripped up there and then came back in, but right now Polestar failing, so we have offers out. If it takes down this 11.95 or so, we're going to be out of this one and then rack up a loss here on I was going to say PLSTR, but that's going to be eventually the symbol. But right now, GGPI coming through right now. So I don't like it. So whenever we have that, we try to get out. So right now, Polestar, we have 11.95. It's going against us right here. But Starbucks testing the day's low as well. So we definitely like the way that one's moving. What's up, Ren?
Had this on the watch list, guys. Didn't mention it, though, pre-market. Banks pretty weak to start. JP Morgan in his annual letter, Jamie Dimon saying they could have $1 billion in exposure to Russian markets. So banks pretty weak out of the gate.
I feel like we definitely, it was
on our
meant to
watch
talk about. It was on the watch list. I know we didn't actually talk about it. There wasn't a heck of a lot of movement in the banks. There goes Pinduoduo running away from the level that we like, that 47. So, obviously I would have liked to break at that level. It's huge on the daily chart, but it's not going to get there today. It's just absolutely rejecting it. And that's the thing with rejections of levels like that. Instead of it breaking out, a lot of times it's a short in front first. That's the new notion we're playing with Twitter. Now that it can't seem to break out of that high in the pre-market. Rivian, another name that usually is a good short off the open, and guess what? It was a good short off the open. Pop through 47. You're seeing the downward trend. It feels like the ES now catching another move down with the NASDAQ going up. that could lead to some whipsaw action in stocks, which can give you good entry points. And we just saw a wick off top at 47 on Rivian. It's a name I tell myself I've got to be in it when we get a chance. So I'll go short in front of 47 just to get that opening wick high and then see if we can work a position off of that. Every single day, this has usually been pretty good. Crocs just took out the top and is now going the other way off of 75. So there you go. I'm going to show you 75 here. This is at 75 level. If it rejects it, that is one of those sort of obvious turnaround, go the other direction type of plays. It was a floor for 2 weeks and $10 to the upside. So if it doesn't want to fill the gap down, we got half out for profit. Now we're going to go the other way off of a key level here on Crocs. The downgrade to me made a heck of a lot of sense, but that's a pretty big line in the sand. And we're committed. We got to start reversing levels like these time and time again. Twitter's still about flat. It cannot get out of this dollar range. And I think it's moving more than that. Brennan?
Clovis, guys, big mover last week, couple of days to the upside, back in action here. Huge volume so far for CLVS, up 15%.
Yeah, we did the same thing there on Twitter. We just got another out here at 48.50. So another dollar in the money there for Twitter. The only stock that we've messed up today, and it's coming back, is GGPI. So let's wait to see. We got out already. It broke 11.95, so there's our out. Just as we said, it's basically a 20-cent hit there on Polestar, which sucks because now you see where it is. But what are we going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. And just watch it now trade through. So I'll wait to see if it does make new highs. We can get back into Polestar. Right now, the only stock that we reloaded, and here it comes, even down, even lower now. Sorry about this, Ms. V. I'll have to go buy her a Starbucks right now. But downside goes Starbucks, 87.30, 87.40. This is a name I want to get into as a investor. But I mean, obviously, we talked about the labor issues they have. China's a problem now. We saw Amazon unionize last week. I think their Long Island location. And I know Twitter, still on my mind. Starbucks has that going for them right now as well. And then obviously you come in with some other issues with Starbucks, with the buyback and new management, new everything. So Starbucks right now making the move to the downside, and it's a name that we like short. I know you were on AMD. The only thing is, I remember, and this is why, and I know you know this as well, I shorted the living, you know what, out of this thing on Friday. It was relatively weak on Friday, so some of these moves back down in. Normally I'd love to be all over AMD to the long side, but I think I'm going to hold out on AMD for longs. The name I really liked long, and we've already missed it, and it's on my sticky note here in the very bottom, was Facebook. And it's just like, there goes Facebook, man. I've been pumping these tires for days, man. Like, even when I was gone on vacay there, the trade that I made right before for you guys was Facebook long, 180s, 190s. Now you're up to 230 here on Facebook. Glad I got some more money into this for myself, but this is just running to the north side now. Facebook uncontrollably bids here every day. It seems like 2.5% in a market that's screaming. I like Facebook.
Go ahead, Brendan.
Plug Power, guys, big move on volume so far out of the gate here from 28.5 up to $30, 6% so far. We're right at big levels on the daily chart for Plug.
Go softy.
Yeah, 15,000 just got tested on the NASDAQ. That's what I was kind of throwing at the right before we went to Brendan.
Wow.
But you know what? Like AMD just tried to go again to this 109.60 level where I had the offer. And you're still seeing the whipsaw action here. And sometimes you got to go to the higher time frame to remember what the trade is about. Like we're long this consolidation looking for the break into this 110 to 112 range. So on your 15-minute on your daily, you want to keep just keep calm. Keep calm, carry on. Like, we haven't really done anything outside of give a second chance at this level, and we're holding support. But the longer we don't break out when the market is doing this, the less I'm going to like this AMD and what it seems to be doing to me. Now, the market screaming to the upside. Rivian, it did wick down to 46, but that was off the open. We did miss that trade and got into it the second time through. I'm just looking to see if we can hold the bottom end of the range. Can we get back to that 46 level to the downside? My stop is just above that 47 on Rivian. It's one of those, until it doesn't work, I feel like when there's a short level or setup to be had in Rivian, we want to have it almost every single time. Polestar can't seem to get off that $12 level. Not doing a heck of a lot off of 12, but 1180 was a stop level I liked on it, so we'll just continue to go with that. Like I said, I added to that SPI when it took out the 350. It's now down to 340. Hasn't given too much more than that. At this point, we have just under half the position left. And I think we can take it probably to the quarters, next level out if we can get there, and then to $3. That's where it closed. Well, 284 is where it closed on Friday, but $3, nice psychological level in front of it. Just got out of AMD, so unfortunately, I don't have the slap one. We'll go gates of hell AMD. The market just bounced back off of 1,500, but we almost got to 1% on the NASDAQ, and AMD couldn't hold my support level there on the 15-minute. It was Friday afternoon's high, it was a pre-market support low, and AMD can't seem to hold it up. So pretty weak start for AMD, unfortunately.
Yeah, remember what I mentioned, guys, about AMD there, and that is like carry forward from Friday. It was a weak name, so I'm going to leave that one alone, see if we get to bottoms there. But one name that, we've been leaving alone, but maybe now that the market's sort of started to settle again. Look, we have a 90-cent winner on Twitter, but you could have reloaded it like over and over and over again here. I was waiting a lot lower than these prices, thinking that we would break this 47.50, but we never did. And now, we're just holding a small piece of this name, which kind of sucks because it would be nice to hold a little bit more of this, but we weren't super aggressive. Polestar's not doing anything. Let's take a look over here at Tesla. Another name that we have, 1079. So this again, weak name into a strong print. Watch out for Tesla coming back in here today. We talked about buying some Neo dips on here because that was another name that obviously we identified as being strong over the last little while, and then this is just gone right now, Neo to the upside. So no buying Neo, but right now Twitter back up near day's high again. Obviously the highest we got was 49.50. I mean, this is legit. I guess it was this price right here, 49.80. I mean, we have a 49.60 out. So let's see if Twitter continues to climb up here, but we can't go for long without seeing what's up with Ms. V.
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Nicole Harris. Hi family, I have been holding GFAI for 1 week. #1 shorted stock in market. Stock has a good upside. Is it worth it? Would you invest? Guys, do you have any opinion on that statement? And what do you think about GFAI stock?
Ooh, wow.
Look, I don't know if it's the #1 shorted name in the market. I'm not going to comment on that. I have no clue. We do know that it's been on an absolute tear that hasn't really had. It's pulled back every 3 or 4 days here, but you have a double top at $2. I think you can see like this double top at $2 that it had trouble getting past, and it just made a wick high. That's overhead resistance I've ever seen it. Like, it's the same way a penny stock going to $1 into $2. Maybe it needs to pull back and consolidate after something like that. And it just put in another like wick top that got to 93 here. Now it was a name that was on my radar, and the volume for it isn't gigantic today, so I can't say that this is something that I'm going to be all over shorting in front of 2. But you get a consolidation above Friday's bottoms, and you're looking for a clean 2 break. So above 165, it does remain pretty solid on that breakout that we're seeing here, and it's got room if it takes out 2. But you just saw it reject. It might need to pull back and consolidate before it can do the next move, which it looks like should be either testing 165, which gives you a good scalp trade there, or breaking out at 2 even. I just wouldn't do anything in the middle when I see a level like that. When something wants to consolidate, you kind of get it at the best price or get it when it breaks out.
Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing here with on that logic with Palantir. And thanks to Henry, thanks to a few of you guys there on the chat is finally like, oh my God, he's finally trading Palantir again. But here we go. So let's do it, man. If we're gonna trade it, we're gonna trade it. Palantir right now trying to make that move back upside. It's a nice move for now. We'll get something out at 37 if we can, and then we'll see about some of these other trades upside. It's breaking back above this 1430, which was past highs. But again, we're not being foolish about this. We know that we need the market to go. I again have a position here. We did get that 1432. What was our average? I just got out there. I didn't mean to get out. I thought I had a 37 offer. We're still, that was out of nothing. Our first bid is 30, there it is, 37, 38. So now we took a little bit more out on Palantir, but we're just gonna give this back to VWAP, which is 27.28. So a little bit lower than that, 14.25 or so. We need the market to go for Palantir. I'm not gonna sit on this. Again, a Kathy Wood name. Some of these names have just been so hot fire recently that it's pretty unbelievable where we go. By the way, and we're gonna go to Ms. V, I believe in a second. Check out Fisker. We only have a couple EV plays, man. GM, Ford, Tesla, and Fisker. And look at Fisker today. Yahoo! Up that 5%. Remember, guys, I was buying this name at 10, and I'm not selling it at 14. No. We want more than 40%. What is going on here in this world when you want more than 40% in like 3 weeks? Fisker to the upside. What's up, Brendo?
More on that theme. XPeng, guys, the Chinese one's going as well. XPeng just taking up pre-market highs there at 31 on a big move. Up 6.5%. If we could show, there we go. 6.5% for XPEV. I'll show you Li Auto as well. 8.5% for LI, guys.
Oh my goodness, Lee Auto just made a move. It's like some of these things are now breaking out. The last thing I expected to come in there in the last 2 minutes was the 47 long in Pinduo Duo, because it dropped $5 clean at the open. And the next thing I know, it's like, oh yeah, I haven't looked at it. Let's go check out Pinduo. Oh, wait a minute, we just got the 47 long break? Okay, there you go. But again, just kind of like with some of these other things, if your trade is off the higher time frame, let's keep it there and not get sort of overly excited about that 1 minute chart. There's room to $50 on this play. So we knew we had to give this one some room. It's still settling down here. The market just got to that 15,000 once again and is continuing to try to press to the upside, even though the ES is relatively weak, man. And I was just saying to someone on Twitter, they're like, someone on here was saying, yeah, Twitter, a chance to stop you out. And I look at this thing and it's like, really on the daily, like, where is it going, right? Like, we like that 48 area for the short trade. And then if you really look at what happened off 48, it gave a couple of wick highs, started shaking you out of the trade, couldn't get through 50, reestablished the level. It's like, let's try not to get, I didn't want to get shaken out of this. I'm only going to take one leg out in front of the current low, and it's going to be essentially right here. And that's at that 50-cent mark, just in case we get a chance to reload a bit closer to 48.5, but it just feels like that whole selling. It's like, it's not wrong. The market's screaming, and Twitter never actually broke out of that 50. This is still, when you look at it, a break and a gap up. We then consolidate below a key level on the daily chart, and really that trend never got broken back to the upside. So I'm going to stick with that. I got back into the short. We did get stopped out the first time. It feels good now, and we knew we had to do this, right? We're not going to miss the boat on Rivian if there was a short to be had in Rivian. And Rivian gives the pop and fade. We just got some out at 46.50. We're going to get some more out in front of 46 even. And sometimes it's like that stock for you. And every single day that we don't trade Rivian, or at least I don't look at Rivian, I always regret it when we come back to it after. It's like, what was I not seeing on this stock? There's always something, it seems like, at the open. I don't think it's doing what it did on Friday. You know, like, you're not going to be able to recreate the magic of 50 to 46. The market is too strong for that to happen. But we are breaking out. 15,000 now come and gone on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, it's just Rip City here. We're definitely cashing out something on Palantir. Palantir's went to 41. I didn't even notice it because we were too busy reloading our Twitter trade. We did take a bid at 47.50, 47.60, but then when it broke 47.50, we got out. But then we noticed that same wick there and got back in at 47.30, and then took an offer at 61, and then another one at 75. So yeah, we'll hold one last piece here of Twitter, but that was a big, nice move to the upside. Stupid me though, man. Like, I had way more shares than Palantir, and that thing just ripped up to 44 again. We didn't notice it until 40, which we started punching out a little bit there, as now it's coming back down. Look at the market screaming to the upside in Palantir, really, although up 4%, not doing the dance that we had wanted it to, considering that what's happening right here. So right now, Palantir long, Twitter long, Starbucks short, Brendo.
MIA, another fan favorite here, up 20% so far today, or better part of 20%. On decent volume, new deal with UPS for some logistics software for Jumaya.
So we'll do one of these ones, and it's going to be, oh, well, we'll see. I'm keep trying to use some of the new ones that we don't go over. I understand that's a cannabis one, but whatever. It's kind of cool. It's got the shades on it. I'll use that one for SPI. It did get to that 3/4 mark, so like I said, we get some shares out, we get a bunch out in front of that, and then look to see if it can just fall. Now you're sort of sitting on it, hoping for that home run style where you get $3 in. It was a consolidation short. Brendan talked about the 350. That was also a breakdown, a place to get more shares into the short trade, and one that's starting to come into play. We got Rivian. It's weird. The market's booming right now, and it's like my two longs, Crocs, well, three, GPI, and even Pinduo Duo on the break. Those are all out of the money. And the shorts are all in the money. It's just one of those weird things that's happening right now. But DWAC was another that we wanted to get a piece of here. We got the accidental long. Shouldn't have happened. I was tending to go short and didn't like it. But it's now starting to roll over at 58. Now, 59.60, that's your key level on the daily chart here. 59.60 right in there. We've broken that support. Now you've got that momentum into the downside. It just reversed at 58. I'm going to start working into a position on the short side of DWAC. It is short sell restricted, being down over 10%, by the way. That means you cannot hit the bid without an uptick.
Right. Good call there. All right, so Palantir right now, we did get stopped out, but let's go back in as we're just near that 50 period. A little bit of a dump back down in there. So now we're trying to get longer on Palantir into these levels. We have 21 bid, I believe, right now. Yeah. So we have a 21 bid as now it goes back up to 24, 25. Obviously, we'd like to see that one climb a little bit more. I don't really have any. I mean, my out's going to be 14-15 break on Palantir, which is that 50 period. Maybe it's going to be weak into the rest of the day. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, Starbucks right now. Again, a name that we like here, but we don't love it. It's bounced off that 50 period again at 88. That should have been a reload. Wasn't noticing it, but we'll see if it can come back in there on a possible reload, back up to 88 bucks. I don't really have a downside except for the fact that we've stopped every single time, except for once, and we got that bottom at 35. Here at 50. So let's wait to see here what Starbucks wants to do. I believe it falls the rest of the day, but that's just, could be true, could not be on SBUX. I thought it would have been down more than that right now. NEO now is coming back in. So this is a name that now we should probably start to look at. The market has not come back in, but NEO has. So watch out. These Chinese names can take us for a little bit of a ride. I've been long NEO and killed it, and then I've tried to go long again and gotten killed on this name before, and vice versa on the short. So you got to sort of respect some of these levels. Like, why did NEO just rip to 24 and then came back into 23? Nothing's really changed. The market's still on the high side, and of course we do have profit taking. Remember on Alibaba, we kind of were like, I don't know if this is right on Alibaba, and then it wound up tanking the rest of the day. Let's see what NEO does back down here near 23 bucks. I don't think it's smart to take this as it's falling back in, and I don't really know why. Probably very similar on, I know you're looking at PDD, but some of these Chinese names, man, I think they're just getting faded. Every single time there's a pop, they get faded. We noticed that in BABA, and it's happening right now in NIO. But Brendan's over there was, I guess, a story?
Another one, yeah. ATER, another one that we can put in that highly shorted category. It's about 18% last I checked for ATER, 22% here. Trying to get to 293 on the daily charts level, but big volume for ATER.
ATER, gonna be obviously one to add to your list. And of course, I talked about DWAC and then I had to pay for shorts because I had actually forgotten to do so. That's why I was not short the first time, but it's making that curl at 58. We still think 59.60 is the bigger level, but this is where it rejected in the opening range. So gonna take 57s essentially short. It's 57.33. Give it to the high of the day. I try another time at that 60 even, but that's gonna be the play. We mentioned TEL, we liked only to that 640 area. You see it stop out. Then it made a bit of a base here. I'm going to throw up Nat Gas. Here's a Nat Gas breaking back toward those highs. And Tellurian. And again, like I said, let Nat Gas try to regroup and see where we can pick up along on this and the breakout, have a tight stop. We then hold 6. And I like this in front of now 6 even. That was a previous high back here last week at 620. That I think we have to chew through, but between 6 and 620, that'll be a consolidation log. I will keep my eye on nat gas prices, but if they break out the top, I mean, am I really not going to be long TEL off consolidation like that? Yeah, I'll take my shot, probably around this 610 area, just in the middle of the range, and then see if we can't work from there, guys. So TEL, I still like it. It just needed to settle down a little bit here. Twitter, on the other hand, is still just shaking around. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, I fully expected Twitter to either break 46.5, be coming back into 45 even, or take out the top, get through 50, and get to that 52 level that we're looking at on the daily chart. Instead, it's doing neither. So I guess the market makers and the algos are having an absolute field day with this thing, which is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. But it just doesn't want to break out. I don't want to get shaken out of this thing, so we're going to wait on Twitter. I still think it can take out the low and then maybe retrace back into these 44, 45 even 45 areas that you see back here on the daily chart. But for now, there's nothing to do but hold on to it.
Yeah, we've been, we're back into Twitter too, but I don't know. Like Neil said, I don't know what to expect there. Right now, Starbucks is breaking lower, so that's good, even though the market is still staying up high there. So that's going to be a good little break back down low. We were able to get out of some of that here as Palantir went right to VWAP again at 28. We got a 27 offer and a 26 offer. So let's see if it can now go back up to the upside. We do have our out here. If it breaks back down below 15, we are going to be looking at that one. Facebook is not giving me any opportunities to get back in, so we have to, or not get back in, get in period, I guess. But here goes Apple, man. I mean, this is like something that I'm always saying, come at the king, but Apple, like today, up that 2% and just rocking. Like my best buy is always Apple, it seems like. We just got long at 151. I know Trader Pratt got 150s as well. That's a pretty good one. I did want to check on Nucor. I haven't checked on that. What's up to Austin in a bit? Okay, good. This is the last time we got out was 148 there on Nucor. So I want to check out what that was doing. And then today, JP Morgan, and I think we're gonna do happening now in a bit, not sector watch, but the banks, you know, we forgot about those a little bit today. JP Morgan makes a beautiful bottom there at 133. And then boomed it up to 136. So we'll have to watch out for JP Morgan. Bank of America, a little easier to trade just because of the price value, or I guess the value of the stock here, down to $40. Another name that you could look at is WFC as well. But I see my ZEO that we bought on Friday. We talked about that. That's at a 52-week high as oil, still up a little bit here at 103. That's the XLE basically that we bought there on Friday on oil weakness. But let's go over to the big board and see what's happening now across all markets with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, a bit of a choppy start so far for North America. Anyways, we are positive now on the S&P. The Dow still lagging a little bit, 0.10, we'll call it 0.10. The Russell all in positive territory, 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000. And then the NASDAQ down here, yeah, big time leading the way, 1.2, 1.1 there for the composite and the 100. So it is tech moving higher. A couple things we mentioned. You joined us right out of the gate this morning. Some of the Chinese stocks chopping around. Yeah, not really doing much. We gap up, but BABA right now, in fact, guys, at session lows, trying to break downside for BABA, 3.2%. Yeah, Sean mentioned JP Morgan there. I was going to mention weakness no more. I said 133. We come down to this low and break it right out of the gate. But remember, he said in his annual letter, possibly $1 billion in exposure to Russian markets for JPM, guys.
I mean, it's a large number, but it's just I know it's just, but it's $1 billion, right? Like I get it, $1 billion's a big number, but I don't know that I'd be terribly afraid of it. I know what Jamie Dimon with his big loadout that he has, or his letter today, which I haven't read through, but is usually a pretty interesting read. I look forward to that on the train. I want to go back to Crocs, sort of managing the positions here. Crocs, the 75 level, it's all about level, and it's just when it broke down, it was a short. You can see on the higher time frame, we did get some out, half of it out in front of the low of the day. It then could not hold. That's a reverse pretty much every single time. Like when you break something like this to the downside and then put in a wick bottom on the higher time frame, that's the same thing. It's not on a 1 minute or a 5 minute or a 3 minute like your failed breakdown, but on the higher time frame, you've now put in an opening fail break through that 75, which is a key level. Now, I'm going to try and get this. I have a target up here at 78. That's just for some of these shares because that's where I think we can get to. And I think that's the top. So I want an order out there just in case Crocs can hold 75. It's the top end of Friday's action. So if we can get there, I think that would be a great return. Doesn't mean I think it has to get there, but certainly that's a big hold for Crocs on a 75. Clearly, when that shelf gets broken, I want to be involved. But once it gets reestablished, I'll go long in front just about every single time. I want to come back to Polestar stinks, but the one thing that it is doing is it's holding that 1180 support. So we got the break at 1250. I'm like, okay, breakout trade. I like it to that previous, and again, it's just a previous high, right? It then bounces off the previous high, so we add to it at 12 even, and now we're just sitting in the trade because I think the upside is to get back to 13 and break back out, but it needs to start to get going. This market is pretty strong, but I look across the board. It's like Crocs, up a little bit. I look at Pinduo Duo. That's actually down on the breakout. So that hasn't worked. We're able to reload some in front of the pre-market low, but this is not working to the long side, and all the shorts are working for me. So it's one of those weird markets where all my longs happen to be against and in a strong market, and all the shorts are in the money. So it's one of those, but you trade individual names here, and I think that's going to be the key. We're in the names that are moving. I just need to see some fall through. Twitter finally breaks 47, and there's no way it was going to sit in this range for too long, but you're seeing it finally get through 47. This low here, 46.75, still has yet to be breached, and I'm not getting anything out until it takes it out. I'll look to get some out in front of 46 and then some out in front of 45.
Yeah, we got into Twitter there at 47.20 and got them out in the 30s, and now we're holding a small piece just to see, like what Neil mentioned there, is there that downside? There it is. Is that downside pressure coming in Twitter? And there it is. So, just like always, you got to know when to get out of the way. It's broken through 47, so now we got to wait for 44. on that name. But Twitter still, it's not my number one stock. That's going to belong to Starbucks right now, as Starbucks, wow, what a move down. We'll go wow right there as this is continuing. I don't have any more bids on this name, so let's just let this thing just continue to fall down and see how far Starbucks can go off that 88.50 take right there once, and then again back in for Twitter. So, and then Palantir, man, I mean, honestly, I don't know why it didn't get going through VWAP there, but we'll take it. Average. Nice little trading here on Palantir. I mean, it still needs to go. We still are watching this 14.15, and if it comes back in, then great, which it basically just did. We should have got some more shares there. Let's try that again here on Palantir. If it does come back in, we'll take another bid sub 20 and then get out if it breaks through 14 or so on the down. Sorry, 14.15 or so on the downside as it's bouncing off this 50 period. But again, not looking very strong. I wonder if this is one of those days where this name, despite, like what Neil was mentioning, despite the market starting to run a little bit here, we don't get the strength in some of these names. Like the weakness in Starbucks is pretty obvious. And then what about Tesla? I heard people mentioning, I saw people mentioning Tesla there in the chat. And wow, what a move upside for Tesla off that. That is ridiculous. A monster move back up there for Tesla, right back to 1100, baby, off that 1070. So wow, big move upside for Tesla there. I guess that people just said, forget about Twitter. Let's go back over to Tesla and buy this one up. So there goes Tesla now starting to make some new moves upside here. TSLA taking out 1100 right now, and I not taking it out. It should take it out right here. There it goes. Watch out for 1100 right now on Tesla coming back in. There it goes. Ooh, did it? No, it didn't. There's 1100. It's going to break it anyways, but there it is right there. Only 8,000 shares on the offer, plus a little bit more. Let's call it 10,000. And see you later. There it goes up to 1101 as Twitter breaks, and just no stopping this name. Straight upside fire right here for TSLA.
Yeah, it's just a strong bounce. I wish it was, look, I like 1060, unfortunately, this morning. It's like the day that I like 1040 was 1050 that it bounced. The day I like 1060, it's 1070 that it makes a bit of a bounce play. If it does a failed break, though, like you'll get like this wick top, you sort of start thinking back to the pre-market lows, right? Like this 1085 area, that could be a good place for a little bit of a dip buy. I don't want to chase this on a breakout. Look how parabolic it just went. I'd rather catch a pullback. Remember, it's a pretty strong market here, so hopefully we can get some chances to get back into it. Unfortunately for me, I liked AMD. You're going to see it stop out at the bottom there, but NVIDIA also, which we didn't go over. Look at the, I just showed you AMD off the bottoms, NVIDIA breaking out. So you are getting some of these names going their own direction here, and NVIDIA takes out this 270 area, but hasn't gone through that floor from last week, 272. It's still trying to maybe consolidate above that price. Sorry, 73, I should say. And if we can hold above there, I kind of like that look. If it's going to be an update in the market, you've got this 270 resistance in the afternoon, pre-market high, you got your 73 entry here, and you can give it back to that 270 area. So I'm going to go from AMD to NVIDIA, which is clearly where the relative strength is. And AMD happened to have the news, and I like the level, but it didn't hold. So we're going to go to NVIDIA instead.
Yeah, so I'm going to do what I was talking about with the AMD, noticing that it was weak from Friday. We shorted the living you-know-what out of this thing on Friday. Let's see if it rips our face off right now as we are back into the short right now on AMD. Just going to see about this short against us to 109.20 or so on the upside. It has to break it back above here if it does do that. We are looking to average into this name. I thought I was going to get it. I'm in the 90s, but it only goes up to 92 there. So let's see if we get this average in here on AMD. Look, the funny thing is, man, we are also long Twitter, or Palantir here. We are long Twitter, but that's nowhere actually out of Twitter. What am I talking about? As Twitter's tanking, but we are long Palantir. So I don't know, long Palantir, short AMD. I'm not sure that's a recipe for success, but here it is. We just got some out 23s. Let's see if we can get some 24s now. As right now, AMD got the average in. Watch out for our out up there, 109.21 or so, guys. Out if AMD does fail. What's up, Brendo?
This Polestar news on both ends, guys. Here's Hertz up 4.5% on, overall light volume, but held 21.5 there. Right through 22 for Hertz as well.
Damn you,
I forgot to look at Hertz, and I know we both looked at Polestar instead. And again, that's where I anticipated the volume might be a little bit better, but it can't seem to get back to that 1250. I'm gonna get some out between the quarter and the 50 just to relieve some pressure there. But DWAC's starting to roll over. The volume, man, pretty disappointing for it, which tends to mean to me that it should continue to head to the downside. I'm now going to get some out between 55.50 and 56 here because of how slow the rollover is, and then try to hold for the double bottom low of the day 53. And the short's at 57 in a third. So we're bucking the money on it and not really taking anything out on it just yet. But as I was just mentioning to you guys, like GGPI, like I just took some out on the way to 50, but it just can't seem to accelerate. What can and has been accelerating is Rivian, man. Like it's just what turned red on the day as we're taking out fresh highs in the NASDAQ and the ES going to the top as well. Rivian going in the other direction. So anytime that happens, where you know something is this weak relative to the market, it's like if we pull back and reclaim 15,000, I will be in Rivian for the rest of the day. Clearly, at some point, if we just continue to uptrend, even the weakest stock is going to find some support, but clear relative weakness in Rivian.
Bang! We talked about, I mean, it can't be any better throw right there, just on that talk, man. We talked about it about 30 minutes ago, the relative weakness in AMD, and that we noticed that on Friday. And there it is, man. This is a big trade for me, so I apologize if you guys are like getting that bang knowledge in there right now, but this is a good one for me to the downside. Now, here we go, baby. We're at a pretty high spot for us. And then there we go right now for, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. And here we go right now for Palantir. This name also moving. Boom, bang, boom, boom, bang, boom. On this one, as Palantir up to 1430 right now, off of that 1418, reloaded right there. That's a good trade. Now going to 31. Let's see where we go. But really, my focus is now we are now out of 60% of this AMD trade as it's just bouncing around these bottoms. I do have a lower bid here, 50s. Breaking through 50 down to 40. So we just got a 61 out. Remember where we're short here, guys? 109. So this is a good trade for me. And like I said, I'm using upside shares and taking less on the trade, right? So that's how I'm trading. But if you like the ideas, you can hold for a little bit longer. It's just a style that I'm trying to do right now with my trading more shares and just trying to scalp it out, because I find like the win ratio is like extremely high. It's just I don't know how far it's going to go down. We'll just try to hold a little bit more on this. So right now we have 40% left, and I think this is going to be worth a reload here on AMD. However, it's getting stronger. So there it is. Wow, good little pop-up here on AMD. Let's get a little more short into this and see if we're, again, if we're wrong, we're wrong. But let's play the relative weakness on the AMD short, and then apparent strength here on Palantir, as Palantir up 3% and still going. My offer, no offers right now, but there's a big size. Wow. Okay, I see that size at 32. Disappeared. Look at that size right now on 32. There's somebody here with 200,000 shares. Let's see if they want to take it out or not on PLTR, but we just got a little bit of an out there at 32 on a paid gateway, so we paid for that out. Let's see if we take this out here on, there it is, see ya, on Palantir. That might have been one take there. Thanks, Aunt Kathy. I guess you're buying back now, aren't you? After selling at 10. How does that taste? Let's go back over to Ms. V.
Hey guys, it's an exciting day so far. I know you're busy trading, so here I am to remind you to like this video. We have almost 7,000 people watching us right now, so team, we really hope for your support. And now back to Sean and Neil.
Yeah, so I mean, I just missed the NVIDIA entrance. Of course I'm trying to catch it on the way back down. There's so much happening, and look, in multiple positions, you're watching the market go absolutely nuts, you're managing, and I wanted to catch it on the bid on the way back down. You're going to see it now taking out that 274. We're right back in now, breaking out of this channel. Hopefully, there's another chance to maybe get it a little bit tighter to the levels that we like here. But before we go to Brent, I just want to quickly go back over to Crocs here. It's right through that 76, so the 75 level was great for a short initially, but once it breaks back above that support level, you're like, okay, that's what it was. It took it to 85 last time. I think 78's the ultimate target. We're going to head to Brennan after just taking out a buck on that reversal in Crocs.
Ahead of earnings. Yeah, we're going to get earnings here in a couple of weeks, guys, for KBW, which is an analyst. They're upbeat, apparently, on the payment names. So Visa, MasterCard, FIS even on here. This one on that note as well. Block up 6.8%, about to take out the highs, guys.
Oh, yeah. Square's probably Block is probably above that 135 level, I'm going to assume, because if it's taking out the high, it's got to be. And that'll be another one that'll kick myself over. Yeah, 143. So it gave you a break of 135. And this is, I guess, essentially the same thing as what I was just showing you in Crocs. On Friday, it took out that 135 level, which was pretty big on the 15. You see it break below, we gap above, and then it holds it as support. So anybody that's got that trade, congratulations. That's an absolute gangbusters. Kind of hoping that the long in Crocs can give you the same type of move there. Going to go right back over to Tesla, which had just made that move at 1100, right? I think Sean was showing you the level 2 as it was happening. Look at it just consolidate off this level. It's now broken this. I don't know. I can't even count how many times it's gone back and forth at 1100 in the interim, but it hasn't gone more than $5 in either direction here. So if you got long off the bottom, it's a pretty good consolidation base that it's making here. I keep thinking it's about to pull back and give an entry maybe off that 85 to 90 area, and then it gets a few bucks, and the buyers start jumping right back into it. I still feel I want to be patient with it instead of paying the absolute top, so not going to jump in the bid here.
Okay, so we actually got stopped out of our AMD, but we got back in as we noticed that big, huge wick there. So now we'll try this one more time and see if this is exactly what we're looking for here on AMD. And bang, right there, take that profit out as it's coming back in right now for us on AMD. I mean, how quick was that? Like, there we go. We lost 30 cents. Look at that, man. That's 30 cents right there in 5 seconds right back in. So now let's start to take out some more profit here as it just started to head back to the downside here. And this is what we're going to do, man. This is how I trade. Sometimes the market goes for you. Sometimes you have to wait. And here it comes back in right now. Good takes all over the place. Look at Starbucks right now, guys. Down to 86. This is a $2 banger right there for Starbucks as that's coming back in right now. So we like that trade. Obviously, probably get something out if it does take this level right there, 86.75. So we're getting pretty close. Let's put an order in to take out another piece if it breaks through that 86.75. Let's call it 86.81, and then we'll just get a piece out if it does go higher than that. We have shares left on board. So it's like, this is what I'm saying about trying to hold on to some of these. And that's Sticky Note Nation for the win there. Starbucks 88.80 on the sticky note, and now giving you $2 smooth on that one. Palantir, we got out here. Like, when it started ripping back to pretty much pre-market highs, or I guess day highs, this is not the pre-market, we started getting some out there near 40. So let's get another piece out if we can here of Palantir, and just to take this one out. And then we're going to watch out for our AMD as that's kind of just bouncing around now in these 80s. Let's take one more piece out here, 81, 82 if we can get it. And then we'll see about it. There it is, comes in. And now we'll see if it can fly back here to 108.40. That's really been the bid level. So we'll put another one at 108.50, see if we can't capture that. But 108.4, actually forget it. Let's wait for 108.40 here on the downside for AMD. If this market's weak, man, then we have this one. Let's wait lower than that. Forget about it. Let's just see if AMD breaks the day's low here. And then we're looking at a 107 bid on AMD. So that's what I'm going to wait out for on that one. So far, so good here today. I hope you're enjoying the show, guys.
Absolutely. It's been one of those mornings. You just had to be sort of have the plan of action, have the levels you want to work off of, and then be a little bit more patient with some of these things because we whipped around. Now this ATER is starting to come into the zone in a zone I shouldn't say the zone, like it's the only price that matters, but on the daily chart, you get to this $4 and then it gets pretty interesting. And if I don't have the break, we said it before, like if you don't have the breakout on something like this, I don't love chasing it. There was one shot off $3, I think, to get into the long. Now you're starting to think about that $4 price range. It gets up there. That's where I want to be involved in it. I did take a leg out, and we'll do this action. I know the playoffs are coming soon there for hockey. But going to take some out of DWAC when it got to that $1. And if I can get a reload closer to 58, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But ATER is screaming towards a level that could make it the next trade. I'm going to wait until we get above 75 into that $4 range because that's where I'm anticipating the turn. It's gone absolutely parabolic. Brennan gave this one to you a while ago, and now it's really starting to run big time. NVIDIA is pulling back, and I saw someone mentioning it there in the chat. Not quite, yeah, it's not quite there yet. I'm sitting there like it's 272 and a third, and I look at that consolidation. It's like 272.50 is where it happens to be holding. So why would I be just below that? If we break 50s, you might get a little bit closer to 271 than anything else. So if I want to start, I might as well start here in front of that 272.50. And then if I want an average price closer to 72, then I should just get some more shares in front of 71, 71.5. For now, NVIDIA looking like it wants to hold the top end. It's relatively strong. AMD is relatively weak. I think that's one thing that we can't be ignoring here.
Nope, and that's exactly what we're doing right now is just watching AMD, and it looks crazy on the 1 minute because it's just back and forth. But we're going to wait to see if it gets lower. I do want to get some more shares into this name. If it can come greater than 109 right now is where we'll start to look to average into AMD. But we're short. That's where we're short, 109.50. We should have been shorter up here. Unfortunately, it does take out that 109.30. We should have waited for 109.50, but again, like that crystal ball, I just don't have it on me right now. So we should have been looking at that. Okay. By the way, big time. We're still big time trading here, guys. By the way, today it's been a good one, man. Starbucks continues. Wow, Starbucks. This name continues to fall down. Like that was quite the call at that 88.50 mark. Wish we had more and believed in it a little bit more. Well, I believed in it. It's my #1 name off the sticky note today. That and Twitter, and they're both 1-2 for profitability for me. But look, we're right into this level again. That's 85.80. So let's put a bid on Starbucks now. If we can get like an 86.20 or something and take that $2 clean on Starbucks, then we will do that. So let's just figure out if it comes back down. I just put an 86.35 bid for some random reason out there. Oh, that's the low of the day. That's actually not why I did that, but that's interesting to see. Okay, so low of the day is 86.35. We'll put a bid there, see if we get hit down. I mean, what's the difference? We might as well take an 86.50. What am I doing? Let's just take an 86.50 out if we can get it here, which we should. Let's just cross the market. Yeah, let's just cross. There we go. You might have just seen some action there on the punch out, but there's the punch out. I don't know what level we got there. We got a mix of a few prices. So there it is, out 52, 52, 53 out there. Now we have one last piece for the dollar win here on Starbucks. So far, so good on that one. We're waiting for the reload on AMD, but that's 40 cents in the money. And then Palantir right now, I don't know. It's coming back in. I'm actually going to cancel my Palantir. I'm not going to let this one float all the way back down in. We either bounce off this or we don't, man. You're right here at 14.20. Let's see if Palantir wants to bounce. It's actually not that strong. It's nice that it's up 3%, but it's kind of like not really moving, but the futures have come back in here. So maybe this is a good pickup for Palantir. Surprised AMD's not a lot lower than this, but right now Starbucks continuing its move down. Let's see if AMD can join it.
Yeah, with the futures coming back, maybe an opportunity for me at least to get back into Pinduoduo. So we get the stop out, and I love the level. It was one of the first ones that we looked at when all the U.S. listed Chinese names were gapping to the upside. That 47, it breaks out. It then had this ridiculous wick at the open of 45. I decided let's just stop out where we were planning before at that 46 level, Friday's high, which we end up just immediately getting stopped on that breakout. We're now back above that 47, so I'm going to try and get more shares, 47 to 47.5 on that break. There's room to 50 here. If the market can bounce and make another run to the upside, I just feel like that was the initial read. It hasn't really been violated outside of a couple of wicks down and still looking relatively strong. So let's see if we can't get in and hold on to this one for a little bit longer than last time. Brendan is ready at the big board. Wow, it's already time for the small cap recap.
Yeah, busy morning flying by, guys. Here we go. RCAT, drone maker, up on a new order today. I was just looking at 260, which was the high initially in the pre-market, and then 280 above that. Which comes into play up here on the daily chart, just starting now to roll over and work its way down to the downside. But bit of a slow, kind of grindy start for some of these small caps today. SPI, I mentioned 350 just before the open there. Waited for the break, just built a position just versus that 350. So you can give it, 5-10 cents. 320 at the bottom there. Another one starting to work to the downside. PLX. Was another one that was higher in the pre-market. This one very, very slow so far. 180 and then 2 big levels for PLX, guys. Back over to you.
The market's not really tanking, but obviously what is tanking, and we're going to go bang on this one because, again, man, when you believe in a name, you reload it, you get going on this name, and there goes AMD straight to the downside with $1.20 in the money now off that 109.10 short. It just touched 107.80 right there. I'm going to hold on to this one and be pretty happy about it. It's a big move to the downside, so, hey, let's see if we can withstand that here on AMD and just try to hold it. We did get some out on that day low there, break. It came just rifling down just before he went to Brendan at that 108.35. So that we were sitting there, it filled us all the way to the downside, and then it started to break. So yes, sir, a nice little move downside there for this name. And I was trying to get out. Oh, there it is. Okay, nice, couple nice outs there. Sorry about that. Palantir, we get that reload at VWAP, and then, at the 50 period, and then it just rips right back up. So I don't know, man. This market doesn't seem to want to go upside here, and I am a little bit nervous about PLTR. So we're long at 23. It's not great. Let's see if we can get back to, 28. We're long at 23. 28 is VWAP. That's where we'd really like to get this name out. So let's see if Palantir wants to continue to work back up to the upside. A bounce of the futures would be really nice for us. Although we are short AMD, I'm not worried about that because even as the futures bounce, AMD, there we go, man, taking down the lows right now. We talked about relative weakness, and man, like, I'm going to be a pretty dangerous trader if I start noticing this kind of stuff and then putting on some more size. So there it is, AMD. Part of what we talked about early was the relative weakness in this name, and we just got to watch out for these as we go, man. AMD coming to the downside right now.
Yeah, the triple bottom here on the relative strength weakness is so important because we're about to break back towards the highs in the NASDAQ. I'm going to quickly show you guys, just because if we say the futures, a lot of times if we say the futures or the market, you'll probably hear us talking about the NASDAQ specifically. ES is strong, but NASDAQ up 1.1% and trying to make another run at that high after holding just now on a dip, that 15,000 mark. Now, in the midst of that, now we talked about Rivian being relatively weak. This is now a triple bottom on the 15. At 46.5. If it breaks that, I think we can get to 45 even. If the market's this strong, I can't imagine without a reversal that we're going to see some of the lows down at 44, but this has just been dying, that name. And now we're back into NVIDIA. So we talked about catching the first dip in front of 272.50, and now it's trying to hold this 271. I'm going to do this because I don't want my chart to freeze on me. But this is that 271 from Friday, last week's top. If it can consolidate there, that's where I would like to be able to add between 71 and 75 on NVIDIA, as it still looks pretty solid to the upside. I want to be patient with Twitter. We did take one leg out on it, but as I've mentioned a couple of times, like the first shakeout, you know, it made that wick high, and then it holds the low. So it gave you a scalp trade when we got back into it, 48 down to 47, but it's still, relatively speaking, not doing much of anything. Right, like I know it's a $3 range, but I need to see it breaking out of this range. I'd be very surprised if we just sat in this $3 range. I think we take out that, if it takes out 47, like I said, 46, 45, and if we retest the high, play the curl off of 50, that's just what it's been doing all session long here. And if you've been scalping it, fantastic. I know the market makers are having an absolute field day when a stock does 85 million shares, but does not break out of its opening range. Pinduoduo is still in the midst of this 47 break. Probably going to need the market to help it out. I'm not on the offer. I'm actually trying to bid more in front of 47. When it gets through 48, I'll look to take some out between 48 and 49. But I think the move, to me, with Pinduoduo should be to 50 if it continues this trend. It's a great break on the 15 minutes, so I want to make sure we're holding on to this a lot longer than normal.
I'm going to give a big shout out, and I'm going to go boom and awesome because right here, what's up, Marcella? This is exactly why I do the show. I mean, I'm trying to make money for myself, but hopefully that's not going to be a problem. But it's because of this. Marcella, she took the short with me. Now she's taking the rest of the day off. So there it is. Have a vacay on your boy. And hopefully, look, you're the one that hit the key, man. And so good job, Marcella. Whether or not that be Starbucks or AMD, she's taking the day off. So go join Marcella, guys. And hopefully if you have some nice wins, you can take the day off as well. And hopefully it's, you know, due to Neil or myself and you guys, man, just learning about some of the trades that we're making and hopefully joining it with us, right? So congratulations, Marcella. If you guys also took the long in Palantir, it's been pretty good, but you've had to be scalper's delight here on this one. So I don't think a lot of you took that trade. And if you did, you're probably waiting for higher highs here on Palantir, which just to let you know, not super certain on what Palantir's next moves are going to be. So that's why I've just been getting this out every single time I can on Pops Up. But we're long 23s. My next out's going to be 27, and then we'll hold the rest for the upside. And this is the big trade for me here, was AMD all the way to the downside. So I'm going to continue to hold this one. It's a big move for me today on AMD, as we noticed that relative weakness. But watch out for 108.25. If it does take that out, then fine. We'll have to maybe reassess on that. But we're going to hold this. If the market is weak today, then I know AMD is going to wind up lower than where it is. So let's just wait on that. If we have to average in, we have to average in. Starbucks on a little bit of a comeback, but we now have like 4% or so of our trade. Just trying to hold this. We don't mind reloading if we come back up to this 88 mark. I'm going to ignore VWAP and the 50 period here on Starbucks, but I'm going to say what's up to Marcella there, as hopefully she's done that as well. R&F hookers, I'm going to assume that you're selling hooks, not the other way around. But you've learned so much, I guess, from both of us. You're only tagging me, but it's Neil, Brennan, and myself from watching us, man. More green days than red. That's exactly what we're talking about right now. And if you just notice some of the trades, man, that I've been in today, it's been real good. So good luck on selling those closets, R&F hookers.
Yeah, obviously, because look, there's. I love the name. That's all I gotta say. I try to go deadpan like you just did there with that name, but I can't do it. It's too much fun.
Neil, it's all that training that we have.
It is
in this business. So.
I'm not Leslie Nielsen, man. Like I can't hold it together with a name that fantastic. But do you guys? I'm gonna go back to Twitter in a second. I'm keep trying to add to this.
Could be fishing.
You know what? That makes a heck of a lot more sense. Makes sense.
So shout out to you guys as well. Sorry for interrupting you, but
very relaxing actually for if you're a trader, and obviously it's exciting, stressful, all that kind of stuff. Fishing, not a bad hobby for you there, because
fishing, honestly.
It's one of those
Fishing
things where you can
sick.
relax, just
and
have
what was
a brew,
Randy's boat's
take
name?
it back.
Glory Days or something like that?
No, Randy's is the.
What was it? It was something that we. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Isn't it called Here We Go or something like that? Yeah.
He's never taken us swimming on or fishing on that boat.
Yeah, probably throw us over.
But it would be a heck of a lot of fun. I want to say I want to add to this Pinduo duo long, and I cannot seem to do it. I try to get on the 48 break. I tried to catch some more shares on the 45 consolidation. I think there's room to 50, so that's why I want to see if I can add to it at some point, and then just get more of this party. And when it comes to Twitter, man, it needs to break. Like trading this inside, if I'm going to give it to this 49 again, we stopped out before, then I want to give it room. If it curls off this 49 one more time, then I'll try to add to the position. If it does another wick top, I'll probably just jump right back into the short. But what is it doing since the open? Has it broken that pre-market floor at 46.75? Nope, hasn't done it. It made the one break at 49 and then immediately reversed right back in and consolidated. So unless it gets out of this $2 range, I don't think there's that much to do. If you're in the long, I think you're holding it. And if you're in the short, you're looking for more than 47. And the stop seems obvious at 49 even. Maybe even a play back into 50 is going to be worthwhile. But sometimes you look at that dollar in there and just get, I guess, too excited by those round numbers. But we have not done much of anything on Twitter just yet. Still up that 24%. But where's your follow through?
Yeah, just messaging my wife there. Yeah, what's up, Taco Eater? Yeah, that's another reason why we trade here, so that we can have tacos on Tuesday. I'm actually going to make that request. You guys watch next week on Tuesday.
Yeah, but you've seen the kind of tacos they do. They do those.
I know, but I'm just going to make the request, and then we can. I know, but I'm going to try to get tacos.
Like real
burrito bowls or something.
That's not a taco.
I know that's not a taco. It's not. I know, Neil.
You know what? Yeah.
So I'm gonna put a request in that next Tuesday, right here, we have tacos for lunch. So shout out to you, Taco Eater. And hopefully you can call me on that. I'm going to put that request in after the show ends today. Tacos next Tuesday. And then join us as Trader Pradwa can demonstrate the tacos as we get the food after 11. And then, but Trader Prad hates on everything. So I'm just hoping, as he's sitting over there laughing, I just hope that we can have tacos that will appease you and Trader Prad.
It just needs to actually be a taco to appease me.
I know, I'm feeling it.
I'm easy.
I don't mind everything. I like fish tacos. I like the ground beef up in there. Chicken is good. Yeah. I mean, I'm down with whatever kind of taco they throw
just those
down.
Bowls? Like
you
eat that with a knife and fork. You can't hold it. It's not the same, man. That bowl, I don't understand where. First of all, where'd that even come from? And why is that in every single restaurant now? Like, also
Chipotle. It's Chipotle.
Is it because of them?
Yeah, I mean they crush it.
I didn't think I liked the stock, but
yeah. I like the stock, as my kid says about GameStop as we were on vacation. That was so funny when he said that McDonald's Mondays. No, George is getting upset. What does that mean? Oh, from Seinfeld. George is getting upset. I think that's from.
I guess. That's kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, about you. Yeah. Okay.
True.
Yeah. George. Neil is George. Yeah. No, I don't know. Actually, you guys have some stuff alike.
We got some quirks alike. Probably.
Anyways, we all got our own.
That's pretty fair.
That's pretty fair. We all got that as well. I wouldn't even think about.
Oh, I'm finally out of Twitter.
What am I, Newman or something? Okay, DraftKings Neo. Go ahead with your Twitter. I don't have anything up to.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Is that Twitter at 49 again?
Yeah, but it didn't really break it. It's another wick top there. Like every single time, I'm going to give it past 49. You can't actually stop it.
As Prad would say, sheesh.
I actually had my stop right at 49. So I'm going to pay 20 cents to jump back in and put the stop like 10, 15 cents above it because got to give it some room when it's bouncing around like this.
You want to see shrimp tacos? Oh, yeah. In Miami, man, my kid was killing the shrimp tacos and the shrimp wraps. They were killer. You want to see a great out on Twitter? Check out this one, guys. Look at this to get out of my long. 46.90. We basically got out at the very bottom of the day. Good thing we only had 10%, but still, bad out for Twitter. Like you just said Twitter, I was like 49? When I last looked at this thing, obviously it was down here to 47. What a monster move back up here for Twitter. Way above some of these lines, man. We're going to have to find out what's going on with that. But you know what is tanking here, with no doubt about it, is AMD. And we're going to go, yeah, boom on that one. Because AMD, we called that name. And like I said, man, I'm getting ready to, I mean, I can't believe it's 21 years in and I'm getting ready to level up. Nice haircut, Mark. Is that a new haircut? Yes, it is. There you go. Mark looking handsome as ever. Shout out to Ms. V or Brendan. Either one you're about to see.
How about both of us? Let's start with Roku, guys. We talked about it pre-market briefly, coming back to 130 once again. Did give you a secondary move there at the open all the way up to 135 after that news. So watch 130 for Roku, still having a nice day. Now, let's get a check quick on how things over in Europe are shaping up with an hour left. Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brendan, European markets are slightly up. Meanwhile, EasyJet trading in London is down around 1% as it was forced to cancel some flights to and from Britain due to higher than normal sickness level of its staff. Back to you.
Yeah, I saw some similar type airline headlines out of Florida over the weekend, but that was weather related, I think. Anyways, 0.4, guys, right now for the S&P.
Okay, go ahead. You found this first.
I was just going to go. Well, I didn't find AMC. I think a lot of people in the chat were talking about AMC. It found us, and it broke that Friday's low here at 22.35, which was a previous high, my 15, which only wants to go back 2 weeks, so that's all as far as it will go. But watch this thing. I think there's room down to 20. Like, I mean, you got support at $20 where this broke out from, and 21 maybe. But wow, that's a pretty weak move. Well, I guess it's a strong move, weak stock in AMC as it starts to come down here. If it tries to claw back, 22.33 was resistance before and Friday's low. Maybe that's a place to be able to get into it. Twitter finally really took 49, so we jumped back in at 80s, and then it took it out. So we essentially paid 30 cents to get back into it, but I wanted to make sure it was actually breaking and holding below that level. But AMC now bears watching, and if I'm going to watch AMC and watch it to the downside, then you got to look at GameStop as well, which has not taken out Friday's low at 155. Just as weak, down 4%, not 5. But that 155 level, if there's a bid to be caught, you kind of think that's where it's going to be, 150 to 155 on GameStop. You know, we were way too stubborn only going long on GameStop, but this isn't nearly as weak as it was on Friday. And if AMC turns off 20 and GameStop is still holding in that range, it probably catches a bit as well.
Yeah, I just hit that alert right there because we did get long into AMC. And then you know what's happening now that we're long into AMC? Let's spin it. It's everyone's favorite little gift, although I think it's pretty annoying. There it is right now. It's money, money, money time. And I was like, when Neil's like, oh my God, look at AMC. This was a name that I saw a couple minutes ago, like 20, 30 minutes ago, the first time. I guess it wasn't that long. It was at 10:19. So yeah, 20 minutes ago. The first time it came to 22 and I missed it. And then he's like, oh, it's back to 22. So shout out there to finding that one and to you guys in the chat as well. So we took that off that bottom there. So that's it, man. We'll wait to see. I think it retests? Maybe. We are now out of 20%, of AMC. A piece out at 12, then a piece out at 17, I believe, just to give you guys the exact outs. 12 and 16 there, outs on AMC. So 12 and 16 out of 20% of AMC. The next level is that level that Neil was talking about, 22.30. So if we could take that out, then we'll be gone and out of AMC. And holy crap, as we allowed to do that as we flush down the toilet. That's pretty appropriate, right, for a flush down? Wow, AMD, see you later. Like, these are names, man. I'm going to start adding to the sticky note, like maybe double 2 sticky notes, like relative strength and relative weakness, so we don't forget. Because honestly, we purposely didn't put AMD on the watch list today, despite that news of them buying something that had nothing to do with them, I felt like. What was it? Something in the services there for the chips. But anyways, we'll find out more about that with that news. But AMD was not on my radar today, and it should have been to the short side. So as soon as we noticed that the market was screaming and AMD wasn't, it took a great opportunity. We have like 4 shorts. We did get blown out of one of them, but then right back in and a nice little bottom move there. I'm just going to hold this one. Again, we're only in I mean, we have we have 20% left, so it's a decent spot. I just think that we could take down these lows, especially if the market wants to take this 50 period to the downside. I mean, it seems foolish not taking a $2 winner on this name, but we're still going to wait for it. Okay, AMC. AMC starting to get elevated again here, up to the 30s. Let's take a piece out. There it is. We'll take a piece out 23, as I'm just like marketing them out when it comes back up here. So we'll take another piece out on AMC, as we are right now into the money zone, as this is been a great day for me. Palantir now back up to 28. And again, I understand this looks ridiculous, but we're just like sort of trading this as we see fit here on Palantir. Back up, another move. Starbucks $1.30 in the money. Palantir a dime. AMD $1.70. And now AMC 2 dimes up to 20 cents now in the money for AMC. We're looking at that 30 level right here. So I'm going to try to get some more out of AMC. We are now out of only 30%.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get some orders. I just realized I didn't have orders on Pinduoduo, which we've been holding. So you can't take profit unless you actually sell the shares. But sometimes you want to have orders out. Other times you kind of want to give it some room. But as it's now breaking 48, we kind of looked at that 47 to 45 channel has now been taken out. We got what we've gotten. We got stopped out the first time, so we're not going to be up on the stock unless we get to that 49, which is where we're headed to. The market just took out the highs. Whoops, no, I just jinxed it. The NASDAQ got very close, is trying to take out the high. It actually has not done so apologies for that. But it is close to taking out those highs. One that we've been basically sitting on, and we're going to come back to it, is Polestar. We had that 12 to 1250 channel. The breakout started to come in. Then it held that 1180, so that previous support level got held. We worked back out at that 1250, and essentially, as long as we're above 1180, I kind of think we should go next stop 13 and then try to retest those highs. It's just pretty clean on the daily chart once you're above that 1250 level to get to about 13 even. So that's what we're holding out for. I love the fact that we bounced off of previous resistance. I love it when resistance turns into support. It got established. We added once it held that support level, and hopefully we can get to the upside. But Polestar has been a slight disappointment because the volume hasn't really followed through. Still has a bit of a spread every now and then, so it's been good. It just has not been great, which I would love to see. On the higher time frame, I can tell you NVIDIA. Talked about the AMD NVIDIA. I've moved to NVIDIA. It reestablished that floor from last week, breaking out from 270. So once we saw it was relatively strong, we go long in that little consolidation range. We said wait for the pullback instead of buying the top, and wait for the pullback. We now have 272. Our stop is going to be what was pre-market highs, what was Friday's lower high at 270 even. If we can hold that level, risk about a couple of bucks. I think if we can break up and the market wants to go upside, 274.75, that channel is within play. And if you can get through there, you can kind of see room to 278 there on NVIDIA. But Pinduoduo going and working. Crocs is still in the money, but is starting to sleep a little bit. Polestar, the long, is actually finally starting to work here. And always working is Brendan, and working hard. He's at the big screen for Sector Watch.
The S&P 500. Nicely green right now, 0.38 to the upside. It's tech stocks up here in the corner leading the way so far. Hardware equipment makers, basically the entire group in positive territory, as are both the software equipment makers or software makers and semiconductors is what I was trying to say. There's Twitter, 25% over here in the communications group. FB and Netflix also having a nice day. Google up 2%, I noticed today. Having a nice day. Banks showing some strength as well. Consumer discretionary stocks, some of the retailers back in positive territory. If you remember last week, they were pretty weak heading into the weekend. That's Starbucks. Yum Brands as well being dragged along to the downside for Starbucks there. Real estate stocks, consumer staples, material and utilities all to the downside, offsetting this move. Otherwise, though, pretty positive day. Almost 0.4 for the S&P, guys. Back to you.
Oh, ATER.
Go ahead. I mean, I'm just, all my positions are the same, man. Palantir is really just shout out to Henry and everybody trading Palantir today, man. How many times have we bought this down here at 14.20 just to see this thing rip up to 14.40? That's a win through and through there. AMC, we just got out another piece at 20. It's still Rip City here. This is a nice little trade for me, still into 40% of Palantir. But really, I mean, I'm just super happy with the way that was into AMC there. I was really happy with the way Palantir made this move back up to date. today's high. So we're starting to get some out, as you can see, 36, 37, and we just got a 38. So we're starting to empty out of our Palantir now, another profitable name. And I can't believe the only red name that I have on the board here all day today, only one red name, and that's going to be Polestar. And guess where we were long? 12.15. Right now, it's at 12.50. So yeah, man, a little bit more on Polestar, and we would have held that. But again, it breaks 12. We should have held it, man, and that was where we got out. And now you're seeing. So the only one red name for me here today, off of 130 trades, is going to be GGPI, and of course, position pending here. I think AMD could still continue to be a nice little move down. We actually should have got short there at 108, and I didn't notice it. So it's right back here, 108. Let's get some more short here into AMD, guys.
Yeah, just a quick note on that Polestar. I just want to show this on my 3-minute instead of sort of flipping to it because I want to get to another name as well. But watch this triple top at 12.63. If we come to my chart for a quick second, guys. Yeah, just a triple top on the 3-minute here. I'm just going to show you my other chart. It's easier to do this. It's had some trouble breaking through, so we do have that 12, and we still got the long on it at 12 even. The breakout was muted success, but the dip buy in front of 1180s worked. But if we keep doing this wick top, if we take out this 1220 again, I think we retest the lows. Those wick off tops a lot of times can be short entries, but it is still trending to the upside. But it's got to break during lunchtime. You need to see a breakout from this range. And the longer it tapers off in volume without making that break, I think more dangerous it is to hold on to that long trade, even though it is working for now. Affirm just got mentioned. I love you guys. It's the best community out there to remind me. Oh yeah, Affirm's doing some things that we can watch. The market is now 3 times trying to take out that high and got wick tops each time. So I do want something short that isn't holding Rivian and that small cap SPI. Affirm level's 49 that we like. Going back into last week's high, 47 was great on Friday, but that already got broken. I just want to be patient. Like you're $1.50 away from that top or $1.25 away from that high. It's a little bit stretched for the short trade. But if we get another push, I think Affirm could be one off of that 49 level that I would like to jump into the short. It's just not quite there yet.
This is just so stupid because AMD, we've offered here a couple times. First time I was at 107.99 and it went to 107.95. So then I offered 107.94 and it went to 92. So, I mean, every single time that happened, I could have marketed in, and that's just like something that continues to bother me that I have to get better at, and that is like, don't worry about like 2 or 3 pennies. But unfortunately, I always am sitting here on the offer or the bid trying to get those shares, because part of me, it goes back to like when I was rebate trading and stuff, and it's just like always trying to take the spread when you don't really need to, especially in an AMD. Like, what's the difference? I was short at 107.90 as opposed to 107.93. Like, it's just stupid. Makes no difference. But yeah, and we're getting ready for the guest of the day, but right now, man, we are really cooking with gas. AMC back up nicely in the money, 20 cents. AMD's been a rocket to the downside there. Palantir continues to try to take out some of the highs, and then Starbucks at the lowest price it's been at all day. Flushing down that stock here goes Starbucks, my biggest trade of the day, given to you all on the sticky note. So do you want to review any positions before we go to our guest?
No, we're good. We're good. Let's go to Brendan.
Okay, let's go to Brendan.
All right, thanks, guys. March Madness wrapping up. We're talking sports betting today. Odds Jam, an innovative data-driven platform. You could almost say the Bloomberg terminal for sports betting, which caught my interest. We're happy to have Alex Monahan, co-founder of Odds Jam, with us to tell us a little bit about a different approach here when it comes to sports betting. Great to have you, Alex. Give everyone a bit of an overview here when it comes to the platform in Odds Jam.
Yeah, absolutely. So sports betting legalized in the United States in, I believe, 2018, and it just launched in Ontario today. In my background, I was a derivatives trader as well, so kind of a trader in financial markets, and just the amount of data, like just looking at what Sean and Neil were looking at, coming into the sports betting industry, there really was nothing like that. It's kind of a bunch of old men in Las Vegas saying the Lakers are going to win or the Pelicans are going to win. So OddsJam is really just a data-driven product showing you the odds from all the different sports books and kind of building betting tools on top of it. So it's less, finger to the wind. I think the Lakers are going to win, in very data-driven sports betting, looking at the sports betting market as a whole.
And maybe, not a typical sports bettor. What do we tell people to get them involved here. Why is it an interesting time to be involved in sports betting?
Yeah, so again, sports betting just launched in the US a few years ago. It's on a state-by-state basis. And what people don't understand about sports betting is it's kind of like poker or trading. There aren't many forms, of gambling where you can actually have an edge, but sports betting is one of them. And what's so fascinating about the market is all of these sports books, they set odds independently. So like FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, these are very big names in the industry. In all of these sports books, they want their odds to be unique. Otherwise, there's no need for DraftKings if they have the exact same odds as Caesars. So you essentially have all of these sports books in the US and now starting to enter Canada. I think 5 entered Canada today, all setting lines independently. Injury alerts come out, they're all changing prices at different times. So it's a really interesting market to actually trade in, which I would say is kind of my background. I'd always been a poker player. I entered Wall Street as a trader. Sports betting legalized, got super into sports betting. All of these sports books, they offer insane bonuses for new users to sign up because it's very competitive getting a customer, to DraftKings from FanDuel or vice versa. So all these sports books offered these pretty cool big sign-up bonuses. So I ended up, getting involved and deeper in sports betting and kind of realizing the power of data and the ability to make money as a sports bettor, long-term, consistently, not like finger to the wind type of sports betting.
Let's talk about that a little bit more here. Let's talk about the data side of this because, as you said, there's tons of options when it comes to placing a bet nowadays. What's going to set the platform apart here? Tell us more about how you use the data-driven approach.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can throw up the picture with the odds, but I feel like this is kind of the best way to give the example. If I could see it on the screen. Oh, the previous one, the Flyers Maple Leafs odds. But essentially, all these sports books, if you can go to the previous picture. There we go. You can see for the Flyers Maple Leafs game, this is a screenshot from a few days ago. You have one sports book giving you plus 246 odds on the Flyers. So you're betting 100 to win 246 profit. Other sports books you can see are plus 210, plus 220. So the platform really is, the goal of it is to help sports bettors make more informed betting decisions. So you can see not, first of all, what the market is on each sports book, what price you're getting on each sports book, which is essentially what you see right here. So all of the different sports books have different odds. And what OddsJam is doing is essentially using all this real-time data, processing millions of odds to try to show users line discrepancies, things like that, to help them, ideally place profitable bets.
As a very in-depth YouTube channel where you post daily videos talking about what's to come in the games coming up tonight and tomorrow. Tell them about what's on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we had a lot of success on YouTube from the get-go because I think, our product's for someone new to sports betting, it's very complicated. How can I make money sports betting? How come all these books have different odds? So we kind of have paired, content with our software and found it to be pretty effective because our product is pretty visual, just in terms of getting in front of customers, first of all, and second of all, educating people to become better sports bettors, because there really is an art and science, and kind of similar to, trading options when I was starting, I wanted to watch some YouTube videos and learn some of the metrics I should be tracking, some of the things I should be thinking about, some of the games I should be thinking about. If DraftKings has a great promo, trying to lure new customers in, I want to be aware of that as a sports bettor. So really at OddsJam, we try to pair content with showing users how you can actually start to make money as a sports bettor.
So when it comes to what we should be excited about, it's a big week, obviously, as we said, March Madness wrapping up tonight. We have the Masters coming up on the weekend. What are you excited about right now in the sports world?
Well, I'm in New Orleans, so I'm very excited about this game tonight, the UNC game. But aside from that, we just saw sports betting launch in Ontario. It launched in New York a month and a half, 2 months ago. Lots more US states, Canadian provinces kind of lined up. Lots of new operators, more books means more markets, more places sports bettors can place bets. Another market that may be inefficient and, there's the opportunity to make some money from. So I think just really excited. Yeah, that's the Odds Jam homepage. Really excited to just kind of see, how many books enter and how quickly sports betting continues to spread, because at this point it's pretty clear it's not going to stop in Canada and it's not going to stop in the US.
Lots of great information on that website. We're just going to mention oddsjam.com, guys, for more information. Alex Monahan's co-founder of OddsJam. We appreciate you doing this. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Have a great one, guys.
Have a great day. There we go. Oddsjam.com, guys.
For coming on there. It's the mind of a trader always thinks edge, right? It's just.
I wish I knew, I should have visited that website because I had a money line parlay with Duke and Kansas. So I won on the Kansas -4, I think it was, on Saturday, and then lost with the Duke. I thought Duke would take down North Carolina. So I'm on Kansas.
You should have asked Miss V.
I'm on Kansas tonight if you want the other side, but up to you.
Okay, so it's
4 points.
I've probably said this before a few times. I don't like the ACC. So don't get me wrong. I think I'm impressed by what North Carolina's done. They have a lot of fantastic players, but I dislike I actually think that they have a really good shot, but I just don't want.
North Carolina?
Yeah, but I don't want to watch the game cheering for them. That's part of my problem. And I have a couple of friends who are fans that are probably going to hate me for saying that, but it is what it is. That's what I like to say. Tesla breaking out. Not trying to ignore it. I'm just kicking myself over it because I was thinking whatever. It's gone now, but. When it made the pullback off that 1100 break, and you thought, okay, it's resisting that break, it's going to come back into this, 88, 85 to 90 area. It never happened. You consolidated, then just go absolutely bonkers, breaking through that 1117 support. So it's gonzo now to the upside. Market just again tempting to take out the high. Tesla's relatively strong, up over 3.25%, and is trying to go higher. I got shaken out of the first trade in Pinduoduo, which is annoying to me. I should have given it more room. But that whipsaw action was just too crazy. We did get back into it. It's now gone to 49 here. But I still believe when we go to that higher time frame, we should be headed towards this 50 area at least on Pinduoduo. So I still think another $1 we can get out of this one. But it has been working. Although I kind of feel like, what's this one about here? Is it don't count your chicken before the hatch?
Yes.
Okay. Or why did the chicken cross the road?
Yes.
I'm hitting some of the new graphics that are on my board that I'm not sure what they're all about.
Do we have new graphics?
No, older ones that I guess I haven't hit in a while, just to check what they are. And if they're garbage, then I'm going to get rid of them. But going to use some of the new ones. Pinduoduo is working, but I got shaken out of it the first time, which I'm not too happy about. I want to come back over to, before we go to, we're going to go back to Brendan in a quick second. But Rivian has bounced off that low. So Friday's low, it's bounced off 46. I like this for a reload. It's been relatively weak. The market hasn't quite broken out yet, but if we can get it back around that 47, we got our first entry, we'll go back into Rivian for the short. Only that and SPI that we actually have to the short side. Brendan?
We're going to have to wait a couple weeks, guys, for any kind of significant earnings to come back into play. I wanted to mention TKAT, NFT names just popping up. On a note I saw suggesting the UK is going to launch its own NFT. So some of these NFT stocks getting going.
All right, TKAT. Yeah, I mean, NFTs I think are still pretty hot. They've actually kept their dollar value up pretty good during some of these moves. Look at AMC. I mean, whoa. That's going to be a good move for us up to 22.50. We waited for that 22, man, and there it is. Some nice outs. Our best out there is, of course, 41 or 42. We'll see if it takes out 50 one more time there for AMC. Starbucks still at the day's low, man. $1.70 in the money on that one. We did reload our AMD short. We got stopped out as it took out VWAP, but then we reloaded it. So, it hasn't been a great name because of all of the stop outs. But again, we did have this nice short down to the bottom and was able to get something out. So that was a good one. Now we'll see if this market continues to take out days high, then honestly, AMD's not going to work. This is not a short saying that, AMD's short forever. It's just if the market, does pull back, then this is the name that I want to be short. So I will keep on getting hit here for small hits in order to get back in. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I'm going to trade this, is to take a little bit out. So I've only gotten out 20% now for 20 cents. And then we'll see if we can get back into this area. Otherwise, we wait to see if it breaks the top again, and then we get out. But Palantir, wow, what a money trade this has been for us today. Palantir, numerous reloads at the bottom here of 14.20. Now we're right back to day's high. next time more shares on Palantir as it did hold. I was very, very uncertain, but 4%. And then look at Tesla right now. I just got a note from my father saying, well done on Tesla. We're long at 1064 from Friday, and now you're up to 1123 right now. So I don't know, man. I already called 1250 breaking on Tesla, so I'm not going to get anything out until that does happen. But right now, over there is Miss V in her North Carolina blue.
Come on and raise it all.
Hey guys, what a great positive start of a new trading week. I hope you're all in a profitable territory. And I remind you to like this video. Just 300 more likes needed to get to 2,000. And of course, as usual, join Prad and me right after to continue this trading day. Happy National Chicken Cordon Bleu Day.
Cordon
Oh,
bleu.
nice.
Bleu.
We're having
King Cordon Bleu. I don't know if
kind
you
of
normally have that
tasty
with
burger.
fries. Yeah, we're having.
it's like a.
I just made burgers last night too, so shout out to the kids who requested them,
Yeah,
and it was really nice.
have it every
Barbecue season, man. Even though it was only +2 or something yesterday,
Saturday was okay.
still got that queue out. Yeah, actually, yeah, we didn't barbecue on Saturday, but shout out to my wife. We had our 11th anniversary, so that was pretty nice. The fact that she lasted 11 years is pretty impressive. So shout out to you, Marissa, and shout out to everybody else celebrating said.
Come on, man.
Her with me, though. I mean, I'm no surprise I lasted with her, but that's her choice, not mine. Well, my choice, but
So I will say this:
she has all the power.
Every time the wedding comes up, or I guess the marriage comes up, I always say that if you get allowed to do an entrance like the WWF entrance that you guys pulled off, and it's a good start, right? That was pretty classic. You know, we're somewhat old school wrestling fans, I want to say, because I don't.
WrestleMania was this Saturday, and I didn't
even know it was WrestleMania.
I know Stone Cold came back, so
That's what. So a bunch of people were sending me pictures of Stone Cold. I'm like, why? And
his
like,
first match, in
19 years.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Good for him, man.
Shout out to Stone Cold.
And he's
Steve
still.
Austin.
I mean, obviously.
Where's
they're
those
all
Budweisers, man? It's not too early for Budweiser.
He's fine.
Yeah, we'll start downing those ones. Yeah, thanks, Daryl. Thanks to everybody else as well for the anniversary shout out there. But okay, so yeah, Tesla's been a good trade. Let's just get ready to wrap this up as we go over to Ms. V and Trader Pratt in just a few seconds.
I'm sure she crushed it.
We did get what Ms. V cracked some Bud Lights.
No, I'm sure she crushed Tesla.
Oh, maybe we'll find out about Tesla.
Ms. V's not drinking Bud Light. Come
No,
on.
I don't think so.
Nothing against Bud Light, but
We'll
that's
find out if she's
clearly
drinking
not
Bud
her
Lights
thing.
or not. So I think she is at some point. And next time we go out, I'm buying her a Bud Light now. Okay, 108.20. Just to let you guys know, we are getting close to getting out of AMD. It takes out 108.60 and breaks back above VWAP. I mean, I told you this is what we're going to do. Maybe it's going to turn into strength. So, hey, look. We can get out of this name if we need to. Still a good name for us today, but again, we are watching. It is holding out high here. Despite the NASDAQ trying to come back in, I thought AMD would have come back in already, and instead it's thinking about doing the opposite. So maybe a mind changer there on that one. And then Palantir, man, well, how does that taste? All the way up to 50, 14.50 right now. This is a name that I've been touting for a hell of a long time, but here it goes now, taking out some of these new highs on the day. What a good trade that was for me. But yeah, Palantir, AMD, which is going to get out, and then Starbucks makes for a good day.
Yeah, and just I'm sort of managing everything here, and like everything for now. I mean, Nvidia's gone back and forth between 270 and 272. I've got 72, giving it to 70s. Everything else sort of sitting and just managing. TKAT. This is one that Brendan brought to us, and we should mention because we were trading it on Friday. This $4 break that happened, that was a huge rejection on TKAT at that price. As it sort of grinds into it right now, it's broken it now 2 times, hasn't been able to get to that 20 mark, and you'll see it reverse here. I'm going to pay for the locates because if we don't break this high, that is a huge opportunity for retracement, I think, back to 350, 360. I wouldn't be chasing it up here. I think if it holds above the quarter mark, it's got some room to go, as you can sort of see on the daily chart. That goes without saying, but it has to get through Friday's high first. That level of resistance, I think, can be pretty solid throughout lunchtime. And, oh, wow, it's already past 11 o'clock. So, with that...
That happened fast.
Yeah, it happened really quick. I know you want to see how Ms. V did with her Tesla trading because it's going gangbusters. Let's go to Trader Pratt and Ms. V. Go get them.
Welcome to a new week. It is Monday, April 4th. It's time for Market Movers with Trader Pratt and Ms. V.
Yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us. As usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything, and smash the like button. I hope you're having a great start of a new trading week. And Prad, a lot of names are moving. What is your focus at today?
Yeah, a lot of stuff are moving indeed. Watching the China stocks, watching, even BABA again, once again, MULN once on the leaderboard. Lots of fun, lots of stuff to talk about today. So feel free to throw it in the chat. At the moment, I was just watching Apple.